Premium, Atomic number 100.
Hello and welcome to the SaladCast on the 1st of January 2014. I'm your host Dan Train. Joining me today, Robert Kemp.
Yes.
And Zachary Burgess.
Timely.
And this is episode 100. Da, 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 da. We've been doing this for far too long, probably. And additionally, it is our Game of the Year podcast, where you will hear us debating various categories of things.
Check out all those things coinciding together, making this some kind of special podcast.
Except it's not. Because we'd be doing this anyway, but it's also episode 100, for which we didn't do anything special.
Well,
we technically did something special for 99.
Yeah, that was somewhat special. It was just the ordering of things.
It's the anti-special. just to make sure the balance is maintained.
Well, obviously we don't actually care until 128.
Oh no.
Oh no, is that the
that's
key
the
one?
7-bit number. That means nothing. We're going to have a Dreamcast special. Because it's 128-bit, yo.
Was it?
I don't know. I think at that point they gave up on the bitness.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe by then Mario 1 to 8 will be out and will be blown away by the game of the generation. Oh wait.
Well, they sort of get close, didn't they? Super Mario 3D World.
It was only 128.
No, it wasn't 128. That was like 4.
Yeah, not quite. They're getting closer.
Breakthrough. We made 4.
We made 4. Woo!
Well, those Mario versus Donkey Kong games are probably closer with all the little mini Marios.
That's true.
Yeah.
They're like robots. They don't really count.
Real Marios only in here. No fake Marios. Turning into some kind of Blade Runner style simulantism. Droidism? What would you call it? If
Replicants, aren't they, in Blade Runner?
No, yeah. But what would it be? Like, how you get racism? What would it be?
Racism again.
Would it be like that, I guess.
They count as a race, probably.
Droidisms.
Someone's definitely... I'm sure several different science fiction authors have come up with a word, probably different words for that exact thing. Because presumably, if you're afraid of aliens, that's xenophobia, presumably.
Yeah.
Like the same as... Because the word makes more sense.
Robophobia. Would be robophobia if you're afraid of...
But then what do you say if you're afraid of people from, or whatever, or you're phobic of people from different countries? Because currently we say xenophobia, right?
Yeah.
But what if now there's aliens? Then what word do you use for?
Still counts.
That still counts. So it's
extra xenophobia?
As in extra... But extra kind of is from extraterrestrial, isn't it? As in outside of the Earth, whereas xeno means alien, doesn't it? So that already means
outside alien phobia.
Outside aliens, as opposed to those inside aliens, those damn Frenchy inside aliens.
Oh man, we better get this shit rolling.
Okay, let's get going.
There's a lot to do.
Episode 1.
Introducing the first award. The 2012 game of 2013. Woo. As in, what game didn't we get round to last year?
Yep.
That we played this year and thought was awesome.
Well, I have one, but you already discussed it last year heavily for Game of the Year, so I don't think it counts.
XCOM?
Which is XCOM, yes. I played the crap out of that this year, and it was awesome.
I think we're allowed to put things in twice, but...
Okay, well, since it didn't win Game of the Year last year, I feel like it deserves an award, because it was freaking awesome. God damn it. But what are the other nominees?
All right. The other nominees are Journey, Sonic Racing Transformed.
It came out in December.
It did, yeah. Spec Ops: The Line, Dust: An Elysian Tale, Awesome Noughts, and that's it.
That's a good few decent ones. Which ones did you play the most and enjoy the most this year, then, is the question, I guess. That's the point of the category, so...
Well done.
You played a lot of Dust, you guys, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I mean, I know it has its flaws, but it plays all its cards pretty early. I guess the problem with Dust, but it was a fun time game. I found it nice because it was so simple in a way. You didn't have to you could zone out while playing it until you up the difficulty, and then things got a bit hard. But
that game put me. I saw you playing it, and you were obviously having a great time. You and Zach playing it, but it put me off completely. I can't.
Oh, really?
I couldn't. I would.
Is it
I would
the art
never
style
play
or
It's the art style. Yeah, I think probably, and maybe the look of the platforming gameplay just didn't appeal to me at all. But the art style really put me off. I didn't like it at all. So that's just me, apparently.
Is that just the characters or the backdrops or
the whole thing? The backdrops and the enemies as well, and the characters, and then the the way they popped up for. I mean, many games do that, but for the dialogue scenes, that you have that close in character art as well. Didn't like that either. So
some of the I think we agreed with you back in the time that some of the close up art isn't so hot.
Sure, but I can see a lot of effort's gone into it. It's not like bad. I really
like the background art. I think the background art's pretty high class all the way through.
Yeah, it's well done and stuff. It's just not for me at all. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and then the sort of main character art when you're actually playing the game is fine, but it just doesn't scale that well, I guess. When you see stuff up close, it's only and the cutscenes were kind of, I don't know, it sort of revealed some of those. It made the style look kind of tacky when everything got a bit big. I don't know why, but possibly too childlike, too old school Saturday morning cartoon like maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
But still, it's a fun time, and the music by Hyperduck is pretty quality. I don't know. I still have some of the tunes from the the outdoor levels get stuck in my head a little bit. Like some of those string riffs are pretty cool.
Save that for later. Oh wait, wrong year.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, if we'd have played it last year, that might have been a candidate for best music, but because it was pretty good.
So what games did Zach play from the list?
Basically, the only one I could come up with, apart from I guess Dust, but I don't know. I might have started playing that last year.
Oh, okay.
Because Rob didn't get to it until quite a lot later.
I think it only released on Steam this year.
Did it? Maybe. But the only other thing that I saw on the whole list was Super Hexagon.
Oh yeah.
Because lulz.
Hold on. Did that really come out last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
On PC.
On PC, yeah. It's probably before that on Android.
Probably.
I think the Android version came first.
Right. Okay.
By some margin.
That game is just so stripped down. It's even more stripped down than Viva.
Well, naturally.
Well, of course, but it's like, I don't know. It's like Reverse Tempest or something, or I don't know. It's crazy. It doesn't. But Tempest has enemies and stuff. It's just yeah. But you played a whole bunch of it.
Yep.
You got pretty good, right?
Yeah, kind of fairly.
Hyperhexagonist.
I still can't do the stupid third. It's like the third level is harder than the fourth and fifth by quite some way. Because the fourth and fifth are just remixes of the first two, and if you know what the patterns are, you can handle that fairly well.
Right.
But then the different patterns that are in the third one are really annoying.
So the other things on this list, shall we talk about quickly?
Sure, yeah, of course.
So I don't know if Super Hexagon counts, simply because of its, I don't know, questionable. I guess PC release would have been last year, but I get the feeling it came out on other platforms before. Don't know how to judge that one. But anyway, so Journey, where we got played this year, which I thought was a very impressive piece of art.
Yeah,
shall we say?
I mean, that got quite a few. Did that get any Game of the Year awards last year from the major people?
I think a few people may have tipped their hat that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
but your experience of it.
It's a very pretty game. It's very. I mean, it's. I don't know how to judge it really, because I think I felt a little bit disappointed in its length, but in the same way, it didn't really have enough mechanics to last any longer.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, it's a very perfectly crafted thing for what it was trying to do, and didn't do any more than that. We shouldn't probably count price into this scale or anything, but that was probably my biggest complaint about the thing, was that it seemed a bit pricey for what you actually got out of it. But then I guess that's like the price of art in a way. It's that kind of thing. But it's a very, very touching, very well crafted thing from start to finish. It does have the only flaws with it are some minor mechanical issues when there are actually enemies, and the sometimes confusing nature of what it is you can and can't do in certain areas, such as the sliding sections. When I seem to remember when I tried to, I missed something, and it was like, I wonder if I can just stop and go back up. And it's like, well, you could stop, but the game wouldn't let you turn around completely. I don't know if it's because the slope wasn't steep enough or something, and it's in this one particular place where I tried to do it, but
yeah, that's
it sort of tired it out a little bit.
It's not quite what you'd expect, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful thing.
But is it the game of last year you enjoyed the most this year? Da, da, da.
I don't know, because if you put it next to Sonic Racing Transformed,
oh, awesome.
I ended up playing that quite a lot. And
I saw you playing that the other day. You're still playing that? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because all the S stuff is pretty difficult.
Right, yeah. You must be getting close to getting through all that S stuff, though. Like the hardcore
I don't know.
stuff.
I think I'm only about 40% through doing everything again for S rank. Something like that. There's tons of it. And I haven't done any of the tournament stuff yet either, which is like, a bit like Mario Kart, I suppose. You do a few races in a row.
So is this like the best kart racer for since what?
Since one of the Mario Karts, I suppose.
Since Mario Kart Double Dash?
Let's go for Double Dash, yeah.
Yeah. That's quite a while. Do you think it's rejuvenated the genre?
No.
I'm not sure I'd go that far.
No genre left of that.
No.
Of kart racing?
Well,
Well, Nintendo doesn't care, so they're just going to continue doing what they do and just put the same thing out over and over.
they are sort of
They
trying,
don't think
aren't
it's
they?
competition.
With their anti-grav, I suppose, this year, and their planes.
That's just them trying to mash what's left of F-Zero into Mario Kart.
I guess. Yeah.
They've given up with that as well.
And there's the gliding in the boats, I suppose they added to the DS one.
That is just ripping off Transform Dead, I guess. With boats.
Yeah. So it is sort of influencing Mario Kart, I guess.
Probably not. I think
I'd rather
Nintendo would have got to that point by themselves.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather play the Sonic than the Mario Kart on DS or whatever, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that perhaps isn't so great about it was the, the power-up selection is a little small, I suppose. It's not quite as zany as I would want from a kart racer. You want utterly bizarre stuff, like the version of Mario Kart they did for the arcade, the Namco Mario Kart things, where you have ridiculous power-ups, like
that was
the
your favorite,
off-key horn. Just so bizarre. Like, you're driving around the track and you get an area of effect weapon that just goes, ah! What's not to love?
Exactly.
So yeah, that was the only real downfall of that game. It's pretty good looking. Well, it's not mind-blowing, but it does exactly what it needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Track selection is good. Music's good, but I wouldn't say it's the best that it's had, because the last Sonic Racing game just ripped music straight out of the games that it was relevant to. So it was,
right. So you just get...
whereas this time they've tried to do a sort of remix specific to each track, and the problem is that kind of homogenizes them all into sort of being a bit the same.
Right, despite them having, influenced by or remixes of stuff from the relevant games, they're still
some of them end up. I think Richard Jack did a lot of it. The guy from Jet Set Radio and other Sega stuff. I think he was involved in most of it. But yeah, the problem is it all ends up sounding a bit samey, which keeps a consistent feel, I suppose. But I think I would have preferred everything to be a little more varied. Yeah. I mean, there are some tracks that stand out, like the Samba de Janeiro track obviously stands out, and the Jet Set Radio music is mostly unchanged.
Okay. Well, I guess that fits in already with his style, because he did some of that stuff.
Yeah, he did some of it. Yeah. I enjoyed that a lot, more than I thought I sort of expected to, because I kind of enjoyed the last one, but thought it needed work, and some of the ideas were kind of not so great, but this time they seem to have got it much closer to perfection. Good job, Sumo.
Good job.
And also any reference to Panzer Dragoon. Instant win.
Especially after the debacle of Crimson Dragon. Oh
God. We'll get to that later.
Okay. Right.
And so the other thing, I guess the well, no, it's not the last thing, but Spec Ops we covered earlier in the year.
You were keen on Spec Ops.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the narrative in that.
Yeah. That seems to be the key, selling point of that game. Is
it was its trick.
Narrative. Yeah,
essentially, the narrative was its sort of stealth thing. Really, I'm trying to figure a word. You kind of, I don't think anyone really saw it coming that was what it was trying to do.
Right.
That the narrative was going to be the focus, because every bit of advertising sort of shows it's a third person shooter, but a realistic sort of modern warfare style third person shooter. It's like
as Yahtzee would say, spunk goggle wee wee.
Yeah, a little bit.
He really liked it, didn't he?
Yeah. It's once you realise what the story is doing, which admittedly you might not realise until quite late unless you know what you're getting into, and then the wool is lifted from your eyes and you're just like, oh, that's very clever.
Right.
And then it all becomes worth it. It's a very, very ambitious, very successful game, and what it's trying to do, satire games again, in a way, yeah.
But successful because you're not expecting it
exactly
too much. When you might have heard something about it before you play it, but
maybe this is something to add to the best trend, but I guess it's been going on for a while. Is like the idea of subversion games seems to. I feel like it's been coming up more often. Like things that just try and bend the rules a little in ways you don't quite anticipate.
Anticipate.
Sorry.
Gonna anticipate it.
That's when you were anticipating, but then you decided actually it's not going to happen, so you anticipate.
Wait, let me anticipate that. There's been quite a bit of that this year, I'm sure.
And the only other thing I should mention is Awesomenauts, because damn, that game may win my most time spent award of this year.
Oh yes, of course. Well, that could be a contender for this, though, right? Well, quite a big one.
Definitely, I think it's a really, really well crafted game. But I have naturally I have the occasional problem with some of its netcode, but I don't think that's avoidable. I think every game has problems with its netcode in some places, but I just found it massively fun, and it's a good introduction to the concepts of some of these Dota-esque style games, these MOBAs.
Right, yeah.
Because it is basically the same mechanics, but I guess the 2D platforming stuff makes it a lot more accessible.
Than the sort of clicky point and click old style strategy.
Well, that's the one thing that sort of like puts me away from Dota. I think I might be able to get into it, but I just don't fancy the idea of playing it like with an RTS control scheme. If it was more direct control, maybe it would be better for me. But as it stands, not sure I really want to get into it. Whereas Awesomenauts, direct control MOBA. What's not to love? It's like it brings back those Monday Night Combat memories without being Monday Night Combat. Because God damn it,
I prefer it to be Monday Night Combat.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I would prefer like the original Monday Night Combat to have people playing it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's a real shame.
People still playing Awesomenauts then? I mean, it's been how?
Oh yeah, the Awesomenauts community is still really. No, the Awesomenauts community is still really strong.
Okay, cool.
There's always a game to play. There's randoms. This is the first time I think I've done this on Steam, but I've connected with randoms.
You can't really avoid it, can you?
But what I mean. I've added people that I've ended up having really good sessions with to my friends list and stuff like that, and actively seeking them out and stuff like that when I go to play it. And I don't think I've done that with any other Steam game before. I mean, it's happened in Halo, but it's
It sort of happened coincidentally in Team Fortress, just because we went to that
yeah.
server and everyone was always there.
Yeah, exactly.
Those same people that we see all the time,
which is pretty great.
Cool.
So big thumbs up for me. I just need to somehow convince you and Zach to perhaps play it, and then we can have an awesome It's awesome three-player because it's perfect for us. Is the problem because it's 3-player teams.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's quite uncommon. So that works out quite well. Did you buy it for Zach for Christmas?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And he immediately said, "Fuck you."
Awesome. The thing is, he'll probably get super into it if he plays it. Won't you, Zach? That's the
I
trouble.
don't know about that.
What are you? What puts you against Awesome Norse then?
I don't think that's a very appealing game to play over and over and over. Even though I play games over and over and over, I don't like that one.
Right. Okay. So you wouldn't put it as best game of last year for this year?
No.
Okay.
Mainly because I didn't play it, so I can't actually vote
So you
for that,
can't.
I guess.
Okay. Well, we're not going to get very far if we have to have played all the games.
Well, no.
So,
Well, let's start talking cuts then. If no one's got any more nominations,
We do this that seriously. I mean, come on. It's just like we just have to pick one.
Yeah, I
Super
think we've
Hexagon
gotta-
did come out last year, by the way, on all platforms.
Oh, did it? Okay.
I think it was iOS in like November, and then Steam in like December, and then all the rest of them came in for 2013.
Oh, really? Oh. Wow. I assumed it was a lot earlier than that. Maybe it was like just in the news earlier than that, I guess, and then it actually came out. Weird. I want to split it between either Dust. Well, my top two, I suppose. Like, given that you guys aren't going to agree with Awesome Noughts, I want to put forward Dust and Sonic
Okay.
as my choices. Not because I don't think XCOM is a great game. I think that XCOM didn't really have a lot of, momentum this year.
Right. I guess they put out the
had that
expansion,
expansion,
but yeah.
I'm not sure it made that big a deal. I mean, I suppose the iOS version came out this year, didn't it? Or
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
played
did.
some more, I guess. And lots of stupid people put the expansion on their game of the year lists. It's like, it's not a game.
no, I don't
that's
agree
dumb.
with that.
No, that's dumb. But I don't know. I think the expansion sounded pretty cool, but there didn't seem to be a big deal when it actually came out that I saw.
No,
in fact, I don't think I've
it
seen
made-
any reviews of it.
I think GT did one.
I saw a bunch of previews. I must have just missed them. But
Yeah, I'm pretty
'Cause
sure
I'd
they
be
were
interested
about-
in that because that looked pretty cool in some ways. And
Yeah,
just
I mean,
adding
they-
more maps and stuff was cool.
I mean, people had a bit of a problem thinking that the sort of human love the alien faction, whatever they're called,
Right? Yeah.
that you sort of end up having to fight against as well, weren't that well formed.
Right.
That they sort of became more of an annoyance than.
I don't think
a
you
nice
see
addition.
them much more than like. I think they're an early game thing, aren't they? Those guys or something? Because you can
Yeah,
kind
I
of kill
don't know.
them. You can kind of get rid of them completely. I think.
But then again, those like special missions kept coming up even in the main game, don't they? Where you're only fighting the
thin
tall
men
men.
stuff.
thin men.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's kind of cool though. I like those.
The problem is you get so overpowered for those missions. Like
Yeah, but that's
Well,
why you
you
train
kinda
up your
do.
rookies.
I guess.
Yeah.
Use your shit themes.
Yeah. Indeed.
It is a quality game. I'm just not sure it had enough momentum.
This year.
As I
Okay.
say.
Cool. So we got. Well, so what about Dust then, Zeg? And you think that could be it?
Well, it was on several Game of the Year lists last year, I guess, in some way or another. And then we played it this year. So I guess that's a very different issue.
Based on everyone else's opinion, it deserves to be there. I'll say.
But you guys both liked it and played it a bunch. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I started playing through it a second time in hard mode and occasionally go back to it, but
Yeah, so did
it's,
I, but then I
it's
stopped.
super hard.
Well, that was the one other major problem with it. It was super hard until you get the cheapo tactic.
Cheapo tactic?
The aerial lightning dust storm just
yeah.
destroys literally everything ever.
Pretty much. Because everyone goes into a bit of a stun lock.
Yeah,
and
and
it's,
then you just do it again.
Yeah.
okay, that seems like a bit of a flaw if there's some crazy exploit.
I mean, it doesn't always work. Some of the areas get so filled with enemies and some of the special enemies and stuff starts exploding that if you're not paying attention, you're probably going to get hurt in some way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you could just milk it, but
It's like when you get that power, you've pretty much just gone through the hardest bit with all like the stupid ant things that poison you and the rock things that you have to parry counter and all the goddamn exploding mushrooms.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the hardest bit.
That is the hardest bit.
Then you get like the superpower, and just when you go to the graveyard, it's like, zombies, murder you all!
Yeah. I guess that whole zombie section is the weak point of the game. I didn't enjoy that much.
It went on for a long time.
It went on for a bit long. But the rest of it's fine. The snow stuff was cool.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That was more about the actual levels than the enemies at that point, because the enemies up there weren't really interesting.
I know, I mean, they had
dogs.
that blue crystal lady, I suppose, which was kind of weird.
Only turned up like once or twice in that bit.
Yeah. So what are you thinking? Just or Sonic? Unless anyone's got any other thoughts on the others.
It's not Sonic.
Not Sonic? Oh, alright, that means it's Dust then.
Yeah.
It's looking like Dust. Okay, Dust and a Leafing
Right.
Tail. 2012 game of 2013. Happy Salad. Next category.
Next category. The best game that hasn't really come out yet. So this is like a special mention to the ridiculous nature of early access, which has become such a thing this year.
Apparently.
And that there are a couple of notable games, I suppose, that aren't out, but are still pretty good in their current form. And you may have to correct me on my first nomination, because I don't actually know if it's been officially released or not, but naturally, Kerbal Space Program.
No, that's still alpha or whatever.
Still alpha. It's unbelievable.
Kerbal Space Program, let's see. Where's my playtime on that shit? Considering I didn't actually get to any other planets other than the Mun.
The Mun.
I believe it's called the Mun. Let's see.
Well, it depends whether you actually agree that it hasn't been announced on the U or not.
Oh, does it?
Apparently it probably doesn't, but everyone thinks it does.
26 hours. Oh.
Is the font that crap?
Maybe.
It may be the most fun you can have in an early access game.
It's freaking great.
Maybe.
You can spend hours just not really doing anything as well, which is really dumb. Like waiting for your bird or whatever, because it's quite hard to do sometimes to get the timings right with the time acceleration and stuff. It still takes time, and you have to set it all up and everything, and then you screw it up and you have to do more.
You have to be kind of patient, I think, to enjoy that game.
Yeah.
Once I actually
quite
remembered
like
that there was a quick save, that was when it became a bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, now I can save several days before I actually have to burn, so if I accidentally time warp past it, I can just reload that.
I didn't realise there was a quick save for so long. It was ridiculous.
Although really, you should probably just get that mod that has an automatic timer where you just set a time and then it automatically kicks it out of time warp.
Yeah, I probably need that kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not very good at planning. Like, I was trying desperately the other day to try and work out how to do a free return trajectory around the Mun, but I just couldn't plot it no matter how, because I have you get the little UI and stuff and we drag the ball around and stuff and try and plan it and stuff, but I just couldn't get it right. I don't know why. I think I was tilted at an angle for some reason, but it's like, God damn it, I want free return trajectory because it's cool.
It's not actually that useful though.
No, but I don't know. I just wanted to try burning once and then coming all the way back without having to do anything else. That would be cool. Anyway, yes.
Yeah, you really have to be pretty goddamn precisely vertically aligned.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the angle gets amplified so much when you go past.
Yeah, that's the
You
trouble.
just fly upwards.
Yeah. Damn it. Anyway, yes.
So there's that, and the only other notable entry I got is Starbound.
Yeah.
I suppose games like Prison Architect came out as well.
Yeah, but we didn't play
it. We didn't play it. And a lot of people say that it's kind of flawed and is as far as an unfinished game goes, that one's probably the most unfinished.
I don't know. It's similar to some other games that I've played that aren't finished, where it's just it works as a kind of a sandbox of just building a thing, and the systems that exist in it mostly all work together. But there's just not very much in it.
Right, I see. They've got most of the framework down. They just need
Yeah.
flesh out the content side.
And then make sure all the stuff that they add balances with the stuff that's there before.
Yeah.
Is it likely that Starbound will be eligible for this category next year?
Possibly.
Quite probably. I guess that's
But then again, probably Kerbal Space Program will as well.
Yeah, that's true.
the shit with early access. It's like, how long is stuff going to stay in there? It's a bit of a
Starbound
mystery.
really did only just not come out.
Well, at least it released into beta. They didn't call it an
That's
alpha.
true. That's true. Are they calling Kerbal Space Program an alpha? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think so. Still.
Definitely a beta. That's
I
insane.
thought beta was supposed to be like when you're mostly feature complete.
Yeah, which I guess Kerbal
Which
really
neither
isn't.
are.
Isn't right?
Yeah,
Yeah, fair
Starbound
enough.
probably isn't either.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe that makes sense.
Depends what you define a feature as.
Well,
Because it's like Starbound is kind of feature complete, but not content complete.
I guess. Yeah. Well, it's not progression complete, is it either? Really?
No.
It's
I suppose.
it's mechanically not down yet. Not set in stone. So I'm not sure there's much of an argument on this one. Really, it's got to be Kerbal.
Kerbal's awesome.
Starbound
Damn
is
it.
so awesome, but it's just not. It's like it came out so late they didn't have time to put enough in it to make it more awesome.
But it's not
That's
as
the
awesome
thing.
as Terraria yet, is it?
No, but it's
No,
it's
it will be,
It should be
probably.
because it's clearly a more robust.
Yeah.
System.
I think it has the potential,
Yeah.
definitely, to be better than Terraria.
I reckon
Just
next
because
year
it-
will be
it
Starbound
feels-
year.
It feels like there will be
Or this
more.
year, sorry.
And they modded just like the last patch they did before Christmas. I think they're spending a bit too much time implementing mods and not just working on the stuff they already had planned.
Right.
Because they implemented the mod which is now you can build sky rails like Bioshock and go wee, and it's that's totally unnecessary. Why? And plus, which is it was already a mod that worked, so you didn't even have to. I mean, I guess technically that maybe reduces the amount of work you had to do to put it into the actual game properly, but even so, leave that shit alone and do the things that you already had planned.
Oh, it's just maybe it was well, we've got the beta out. It's the end of the year. Devs are just going to have a bit of fun for the last week or so.
Maybe.
Just making silly stuff.
So is that it then? The unfinished game of 2013, Kerbal Space Program?
And secretly,
Correct.
the unfinished game of ever is Dwarf Fortress, because
It's
that's
Dwarf
never going to be finished.
Indeed.
Although, on the other hand, I don't think... I'm not sure it actually had a single release last year.
Really, not one.
Maybe not. I mean, I haven't played it in pretty much the entire year, because I'm still waiting for the next big patch.
Right.
And I still know that the next big patch isn't actually going to fix any of the things that I care about, so I'm waiting for the one after that.
So is there still much buzz around Dwarf Fortress, or is it do you reckon it's petering out now?
Well, it's only petering out because there hasn't been a release. That was what happened last time, when it had been ages between releases the last time he did it, and then it was when that release came out, he made a shit ton of money because all the donations came in
No,
suddenly.
well, yeah, of course they would, I suppose. Unless he's working on something else. Hasn't told anyone yet.
I doubt it.
So yeah, best game that hasn't really come out yet then. Kerbal Space Program.
Ba-ba-da-ba. Okay, next category.
Next. Best graphics.
Graphics.
Aesthetic / art.
Okay.
I've got some, actually, I need to add some more to this. No.
And the
You have to
nominees?
type it. You can just remember it.
I know, but it's just to be thorough, and if I'm looking back at my notes and next year, see what we did.
A whole year from now.
Yeah. So my picks have been Blood Dragon,
Sure.
because it's super fucking crazy.
Crazy Far Cry 3 expansion, sort of, standalone thing.
Devil May Cry, because it's got a pretty cool way of dealing with art and all the styling of, between the levels and all the unique stuff it does level to level is pretty nice. And finally, BioShock Infinite.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot more I should add to this list.
Yep, probably.
Right, what do we need to add? If you've got, crazy shit like Antichamber and stuff, I don't know.
Yep, that's obvious.
Okay.
Put that on there.
What about, have we got any indie stuff? I've been playing a bit of Guacamelee, that looks pretty nice. in a kind of arty way. But it's
Yeah,
fairly
I haven't
basic.
actually got around to playing that. Yeah, I kind of liked it, but I think it's sort of reminiscent of, I don't know, Outland, I suppose. Because of its sort of like, well, it's sort of not. It's like the game looks like Outland, but the art definitely doesn't. If you see what I mean. But I don't know. I don't know about Guacamelee. It's a. I think I'm almost entirely certain they execute on their design.
Yeah,
what they're going to do.
But whether that's
to a perfect, probably perfectly, but not 100% sure that makes it like the best art. I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
maybe the best execution of their theme.
Yeah, I mean the theme really helps the game, I guess, and the art really helps the game in a way, that's kind of integral, which is kind of cool. But it probably lifts that game from what being like another Metroid clone into something good. Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Just a very basic platformer into something very unique.
You can have Rayman Legends and carry on from Origins. Just have the same game basically in the same category.
Well, they have kind of graphicsed it up a little more. I mean, it was pretty good already.
They've sort of 3D'd it in a weird way, haven't they? Like, the graphics don't look as flat as they did in. But I don't know if I like that.
No.
I'm not sure which of the styles I prefer.
Windwalker HD.
Windwalker.
Wind Waker HD.
Wind Waker.
That can't count, surely. I mean, that looks amazing.
No, it's a re-release, but
yeah, that always looked amazing.
I'm discounting that.
They did work on it.
They did do work on it, and I'm with you in that I think it's a good-looking game. But
what about the art in, like, I don't know, Animal Crossing? No, probably not.
No.
Any DS games?
No.
Pokemon?
None of that art is that great.
What about Rogue Legacy? It's a pretty cool-looking game.
That's not that. It's just like generic pixel arty.
Yeah.
Bit Trip?
Not really.
No.
The graphics are
again, it's a good game. I think it's a good sticking to the theme, if you know what I mean. A good execution of the theme they were going for.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean I like it all that much.
Everyone seems to think the Swapper looks amazing, but I don't know. It was just kind of...
Yeah, that looks a bit pixel arty as well.
Yeah, but it's not. That's the trouble. It's like, I don't know how... You can never... Well, no, I do know how. You can never really see it in any screenshot of it, because, like, the majority of the time when you're playing that game, the screen is just all kinds of, like, constantly glitching and fuzzing and blurring and all kinds of weird things. And I'm not sure how much of it is, like, necessary, but... And then, I mean, people keep saying that like, the art style is meant to be... There's, like, all the objects of, like, found objects that we've taken photos of and made things out of. And I'm like, I can't see it! I just look at that game and I'm just like, it just looks like regular art. I don't see where the real objects that you've taken photos of are in this mess. But supposedly that's what it is.
I'm going to add The Last of Us to this discussion. Not because... I'm trying to keep it separate from the technical side, which again on PS3 is a pretty impressive thing, but because of all the unique art in it, volume of art probably is where that
most art.
Most art.
Most art. Well, have we got Ninty games like Super Mario 3D World and like?
Well, they don't
Luigi's
look any
Mansion?
different. They've been the same for ages.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That actually does look
I
a
think,
bit different, like 3D World does.
I mean,
somewhat.
potentially.
About the lighting.
In theory, if we played it, we might think it looks different because at last it's in HD. But
yeah, well, I played it a bit.
we haven't
And it did look really, really
much.
good. Yeah, I didn't play loads of it, but
I know it is. That and Lost World are the two games at the moment that make me sort of want a Wii U, but I'm going to have to try and hold off until...
Well, you can
Smash
just
Bros.
hold off until Smash Bros. And you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it is
You
supposed
won't
to
even
be...
be able to find a deal on those games, even though it's Nintendo.
Well,
or Sonic you will anyway.
Sonic,
That's
you will,
Sega.
yeah. I mean, it's Smash Bros. Late this year, isn't it? But, so,
Supposedly.
yeah. But I'm sort of with Zach in that I think they probably look good, but I'm not sure it's that much of an evolution of Nintendo's art style.
well, it's always quite slow, isn't it? And with the exception of Wind Waker, I think, which was the most dramatic kind of art style change you've ever probably seen from Nintendo.
Yeah, but you know what? The jump from like Sunshine to Galaxy was noticeable. The jump from 64 to Sunshine was pretty noticeable.
Yeah, but it's kind of
just in style, not in tech. But
right, yeah.
But
this is kind of, I guess you're saying, is just a continuation of the Galaxy look or the 3D land look or whatever.
Well, yeah, both of those kind of draw heavily, I think, from the Galaxy look.
Fair enough.
So yeah,
not innovative enough.
They may be very good, but yeah, I don't think it's award worthy.
Okay.
I'm not so sure about Antichamber, if I'm honest. I think it's a very clever game, and I think the aesthetic does help the game. But there is something about certain. If you were to just take a screenshot of that game,
yeah, it's really stark.
It's kind of. I don't think it stands out that well on its own.
Yeah,
it's like I think it's very recognizable, but I don't think that's what the category's about. Not most unique.
Fair dues. Okay.
I don't know. There's something about some of the areas where you got that just ridiculous light. In some places, like
really ridiculous light.
Well, you know, like big patches of green,
coloured light.
The way
that
it is just a circle.
It's not actually light though.
No, but
it's just colour on the walls.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it works with the game. I just don't think it's the most beautiful. I can't imagine that game any other way, in fairness, but...
Well, they could have done it even more... Well, they could have really done without the colour if they wanted to. Made it just black and white. That would have been weird.
That would have been kind of cool. But then maybe the block stuff might not have been easier.
But then again, they could have kept the blocks as colours, I guess.
Yeah.
Because the blocks only ever, like... The only reason to have them is to build them into specific patterns that fill in, like, door locks or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Although then they couldn't have used their spoilers for when you guys play Antichamber, but they couldn't have used their cheap trick of making it so that when there's a bit of wall that's illuminated blue or painted blue, it's like that wall is actually made of blue blocks. If you just click on it, you can destroy it.
Yeah,
stealthy.
I think you showed me a bit of that.
So stealthy.
So I'm looking forward to playing that, although I think I know most of the tricks, unfortunately, because like having watched you play it.
Well, how much of the gun mechanics? It's not even necessarily knowing the tricks for the gun mechanics. Sometimes it's just like pulling it off.
Yeah,
can be a pain.
Yeah, I'm still looking forward to playing that though. For myself.
Cool. So, Bioshock, the lighting that was awesome, and the art design in general was really, really good.
Yeah, I know that is the thing. Like, the world is so well realized in Bioshock Infinite, and
I mean, it's even better than the Rapture stuff. Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
leveled up, which is pretty cool. I don't think anyone else is doing that kind of quite that. Or I don't know. They are. I mean, Last of Us or whatever, but like it's not as like stylized. Or, you know...
No, I mean, the Bioshock universe definitely has a style, that sort of slightly jaunty, I suppose, feel to it all. And the world's always... Even Rapture felt sort of clean in a weird way. Despite the fact it's all destroyed and there's crap everywhere. It's sort of like everything felt very... You know, when you saw any bit of metal or something, it was always a very clean surface, a very shiny surface, and it's... All of Bioshock Infinite is quite clean and shiny.
Yeah, it's true. There's something about, I don't know what they did. It's kind of the same thing with GTA 5 actually. Not the same, but same kind of feeling that they've just done something magical with the lighting, and I can't put my finger on what actually it is, but it works
looks
so
like
well.
Sun.
Yeah, exactly.
And that seems to be a weirdly hard thing for people to pull off, but it just looks like actual sun.
Yeah, and they seem to have done it. Yeah, and like in GTA 5, it looks like actual California specific sunset, which is really weird. I don't know how they did it.
Controversial option, SimCity, for sort of nailing that sort of tilt shifty look.
Yeah, well, That
It
wasn't
wasn't
that
as good
interesting.
as in the
And also, if you actually zoomed all the way in, it was kind of it was kind of crappy in their classic way. It's like, oh, look at this really terrible animation because that you can only see on the little dudes. Like their walking animation is just like they're not on the ground. They're just like
Well, yeah, but I suppose
they're like jiggling along.
I suppose you're never really supposed to go that far in.
Yeah, but you can't make a tilt shift if you can't zoom like down to ground level and then like look along a street or something.
But that the way tilt shift is supposed to, like, you know, everyone use those tilt shift things to then make everything move like really fast ants or something.
Yeah, I guess.
You want to play it and like up the speed by a few levels.
They shouldn't have. I don't know if they shouldn't have let you zoom in as far. It's just like the whole point of tilt shift is you're meant to be looking down from like high up, and that helps it because that makes it look small from the tilt shift effect. But if you zoom all the way in, and then you're still looking at just like a big blurry thing.
Yeah, I guess. So it was controversial.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not. Don't think SimCity. I
And
get
also,
where you're coming
like,
from.
The terrain and stuff was not great either. Like the standard crappy grass textures.
Yeah. I know you guys haven't seen much of it, but I do want to raise the case for DMC because I think it is one of those, like, the whole
Yeah, of course.
aesthetic of that game. Like,
Well, I saw you play. Yeah, I saw you fighting a boss, and it was freaking crazy.
oh yeah, which
Balls.
boss did you see? Was it the?
I don't know.
Was it the? Oh, you know, I think you watched the club boss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
Disco
fetal, the
boss.
fetus.
yeah, exactly. That was mental.
It was a pretty nasty one. The club level itself is pretty awesome.
In a club start.
In a club style. But yeah, the aesthetic of that game always hangs together very well, and it goes through a number of different changes. Like towards the end, you get this level where you're essentially assaulting the tower, but it's the way the level is told as if you're going over the plan. So as you're playing through it, the game sort of like plays out the planning, like you guys talking about the plan, and Kat will tell you about, oh yeah, then you need to do this. But when that happens, the aesthetic of the world turns to a chalkboard with bits with arrows being drawn on it to say you need to go this way and stuff like that, and it's really cool. Like touches like that throughout the whole game just keep happening. That's the one level where that happens in. And it's like they don't really go back to ideas; they use it where it's appropriate.
We wouldn't want to go back to an idea like that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense in the story.
Unless it was like, I guess that could work in like some kind of military game where it's like every mission was planned out.
Yeah, but it's the fact that it does it mid-level. It doesn't cut away to a cutscene or something. That you're just walking around these corridors and then it all changes to this chalkboard, but it's still you doing stuff, and it's awesome.
Cool.
And Raptor News. Goddamn Raptor News. Funny.
Not the graphics.
So would you take DMC over Bioshock in terms of the aesthetics?
I'm sort of torn on that front, I think.
Okay.
I think DMC does a lot of has probably it's got a lot more crazy.
Yeah, it's got a lot more crazy variety as well. I guess. Although
And
there is some variety in
there aren't really
Bioshock.
bad ideas in that look. I suppose perhaps they fall back to the gothic stuff reasonably often, but that's
kind of in the roots of the series, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, best. The only thing I'm not sure about, like with Bioshock's presentation, I suppose, is like that tear effect.
Right.
It's like I don't necessarily mind the fact that it sort of has a harsh stopping point between where the tear starts and ends, but I thought it was a bit weird that they chose it to look like static.
Yeah, the static television look or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, because what basis is that? I don't know. For like a mystical power, what kind of what would that be based on? What kind of rooting in science would cause TV static? And
That's true. Although I don't know how you'd depict something that's like there but not there. But, so it is kind of a clever solution.
Probably
but
smoky
also,
or ghosty, I suppose.
Yeah, more ghosty. Like
I don't know. It felt perhaps a little
wispy,
out of place with the rest of the with the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm not sure you didn't really have TVs much or at all throughout that thing. I suppose the only time, and I guess when you go to that prison area, and there's that really odd. There is that one
Projector
console that
thing,
looks like it's
yeah.
got like screens and stuff on it, and it's like the one time you see televisions,
Right, yeah.
because everything else is done with those scopes, whatever they were called.
Yeah, the cinescope things. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever they're called. Yeah, that's true. Maybe there was a mistake putting those screens there.
Didn't really like that prison
Yeah.
level anyway.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So where are we? Got Devil May Cry.
Blood Dragon we haven't really talked about, but I guess we've only really seen it briefly, and
That's just crazy over the top. I mean, it does look mega 80s VHS balls
Again.
crazy.
they've nailed what they were going for.
Yeah. But I mean, there's not much to it other than that, I guess. I don't know.
No.
And not that the game should really factor into this discussion, but for the graphics. But I don't know.
It's the whole package, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's what you got to talk about. Does it have a better package than DMC? Not sure it does.
No, exactly. It's just got that one trick, really, which is the crazy Neo 80s thing,
Super Neon,
which is awesome.
cyan and pink.
Freaking crazy. But yeah, I think that would burn my eyes out if I had to play a whole game of that. Probably.
All right, so I guess it's narrowing it down. I think it's going to be between the three we've got really standing are DMC, Bioshock, and The Last of Us.
So where does Zach weigh in on these? Not that he's seen them.
No, I haven't seen any of those really.
You must have seen some DMC and some.
Only about the
Bioshock?
same as what you saw, I guess, when Rob
Right,
was
okay.
playing when you were here.
Okay, so do you have any? I mean, what's your pick for this category?
I don't know.
What's your favourite of the year, regardless of what we're left with? Is it Anti-Chamber?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Good input.
we discount Andy Jaber, so okay. So The Last of Us then.
Yeah, well, The Last of Us, as we discussed earlier, I think is like just for most art. Again, they keep
Most
the
art,
style
yeah.
they keep throughout the whole thing is nice. Like the when they want to I suppose put a full stop on a scene, they'll just do a hard cut to black or something, and they'll like the subtitle for like when you're changing seasons or something. It's just it's a hard cut, and it will say like fall or something on the screen. And even the intro at the end of the intro sequence, it does that as well, where it just goes cut The Last of Us, and it's
Yeah.
it maintains its style throughout. Again, keeps it very. But it is ultimately a very Naughty Dog looking game, if you know what I mean. That sort of style and
Uncharted look, yeah.
yeah, it is. It does look like that, but it's the fact that there are so many unique areas, and like sometimes there may be places you might not walk into, I guess, but you'll walk into this room and it will have so much unique stuff in there. Like there'll be a poster on the wall that you haven't seen before, or there'll be a book open with a specific scribble on it that's
Just
relevant
for that
to what's going.
place.
Yeah, just for that house, or family portrait, stuff like that. And it's the fact that they've gone into that much detail everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The dormitory. There's a bit where you go into a student's dorm, and every dorm has different posters and stuff like that. Or I guess there's occasional duplicate, but that's sort of believable. Like that two people might have the same poster.
Yeah.
And it's.
That is pretty. That's kind of attention to detail you don't really get. You don't really get.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable, really. I mean, it's quite a big game.
But it's definitely most art rather than best art.
Best art, yeah.
Okay.
So by that reasoning, I think I want to cut it.
Okay. So we're looking at Bioshock and Devil May Cry. I have to say I do like Bioshock for this category.
Yeah, no, I'm willing to settle on that. I think they're both.
Well, I don't know
what
if
we're
I've
left
seen
with are
enough
very
DMC
good,
to make a definitive judgment, but I mean, Bioshock was. I mean, in this particular category, I think thinking back on the year, actually, yeah, best kind of art and cohesive and It just
if we
it
wanted
was
to
really
say
striking.
RT game,
Yeah.
then maybe the best RT game because it look
Oh right. Well, there's probably some wanky indie games that we could come up with for RT game, but
Probably.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was always my problem with Bioshock, like story-wise, or just there was something about it that was just a bit up itself and a bit too in love with itself, maybe. But that wasn't reflected too much in the art style. That was more in the kind of.
That's in the storytelling.
Yeah, it's more in storytelling. Yeah.
I
So
know
yeah,
I'm hot shit. Love me.
get the beat.
Yeah, all right. Bioshock.
Bioshock.
I'm calling it.
Sweet.
Winner of Best Graphics Aesthetic, Bioshock Infinite. Infinite.
So the next category is
Now we can bring up The Last of Us again because it's technical challenge.
technical graphics. Woo! So what we got? Battlefield 4 in here.
I don't know. Last of Us, I think deserves a list because of what they make the PS3 do.
Yeah, but
Yeah. It looks really good,
actually
man.
I mean, the faces are incredible.
Yeah.
They're really very, very good, the facial stuff. I mean, some people have been arguing that the faces... I haven't really played enough Beyond to make this distinction, but that you know, despite all of Quantic Dream's fancy face cap technology, that the faces in The Last of Us end up looking more realistic. Which is weird.
Yeah, I mean...
And I have to say,
do
they are incredibly believable looking characters, down to their emotional responses and stuff like that. The way Ellie shrugs off things or looks frustrated at Joel at times and stuff is pretty goddamn great.
So what else we got for the technical graphics category?
And I suppose, as I say, if we're talking most art, actually it is a relatively technical challenge.
To
be able to have so much of that stuff.
Yeah.
And load it
the
in a way that...
detail.
Yeah. and load it in ways that work, I mean, the game does have a few rough edges. Like, if you turn around too fast, sometimes you can see those... a bit of white space where something hasn't quite clipped into view in time. Or it will occasionally overdo the blur as you're turning, probably to mask some kind of loading, I guess. But it's only very brief, but it is noticeable. But yeah, I think for what they achieve on that platform, it's pretty good. So other choices we have the obvious one, I suppose, Battlefield 4, because
that's the big guns for most graphics is.
I mean, holy crap! If you want a realistic looking thing, Battlefield 4 is where you go.
Apparently, that's the place to be now. I don't know.
I don't think there's a
fall by the wayside now.
Yeah, I don't think there's a better example of if you want a photorealistic screenshot, go to Battlefield.
Yeah. Or maybe a racing game, if you maybe Forza, if you're talking about certain shots.
Yeah, I mean, Forza 5 is also on my list, but I think that's if you want a realistic shot of a car.
Yeah.
If you want the rest of the world,
go to Battlefield.
Forza 5 is not where you go.
Yeah, exactly.
The crowd, man.
Everyone's focusing on that
terrible
crowd, but I mean...
I know, but it's awful.
Yeah, but the tracks, other than those, particularly, showpiece tracks, they look fine, but they don't look...
I mean, I guess that's
the
problem. A lot of racing games do this, though, don't they? Like, GT it does this as well, where it's the focus is almost entirely on the car graphics.
Yeah,
and the world
why do they do that?
Comes a little bit second.
The world is awesome. They should do the world.
I mean, we had some reservations
good enough already.
We had some reservations after seeing both Laguna Seca on both on both GT6 and Forza 5 at Eurogamer, because we thought that perhaps Forza ended up looking better, but we were kind of a little bit disappointed in some of its textures.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Forza 5 I think it does have a mip mapping problem. It does lower the detail too much as stuff gets further away. And also, aliasing. Aliasing is that game's biggest headache.
Yeah. It's not good. Especially as it's supposed to be the new gen or whatever.
But damn, those are the best looking cars I've ever seen.
Yeah. Sure. But this isn't best looking cars. This is best technical graphics. God damn it!
So for the most detail put into a motor vehicle.
Yeah.
That's those things look hella nice. So yeah, other things on this list are GTA 5.
Yep. I think almost like
pretty
GTA
much for the lighting.
Yeah. Well,
the lighting alone.
Technically, it's a miracle that it runs. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how it's really weird. I don't know how they even did it because it runs fine. It doesn't run amazing or anything, but I mean, the expanse of the world, and it looks considerabably better than GTA 4. I think.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one.
It's pretty. It feels like there almost deserves. There needs to be a category for like most squeezed out of the current gen with The Last of Us and GTA 5 in there because that's pretty. I mean, GTA 5 looks pretty damn great. I think even the like cutscenes and stuff and the facial and all the animation is really really good. Actually, it's all hand done stuff, but it really makes.
Also, they haven't leveraged like LA Noire tech for.
No, I don't think they have, but it's better than 4, and it's really top notch stuff. Like,
yeah, it does look pretty good. I mean, I think it's perhaps let down. Some of the character detail is not so great in some shots, and
that's true. That sort of thing. Like Last of Us characters look a lot better, but
obviously, but it's a much more restricted game. I guess. But.
Yeah, exactly. I guess they're not rendering that giant open world, but still, GTA 5, very impressive. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be as good graphically. I don't think. I don't know what I was.
I think everyone sort of expected it to have serious frame rate problems or some crutch.
Yeah, but they never do that though. They would never release something like with a crap frame rate. I think they would go for. I mean, not that it's great, but it's fairly solid. It's the same as 4, basically. Yeah. Oh, it's totally playable.
Because 4 would dip every now and then.
Yeah, but it's never unplayable, which I guess is their key. It's never off-putting.
It's like good enough strategy, I suppose, in terms of frame rate. But.
Exactly, and then squeeze this massive, crazy scale out of it as well. Yeah, do the best game you can and keep it running.
Good advice. Top tip.
Yeah.
And my final entry is Tomb Raider.
Cool.
I liked the Trez effects. I mean, I know it has its moments where it looks kind of weird, but it's nice to see some new tech.
Well, that's not going to win either because that's just like a car. It's like best hair, best car.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there is a lot of tech actually in that game in general. I mean, the water effects look real nice. The 3D is good. With it.
3D doesn't count either.
Come on. 3D is a challenge to get right.
3D is like... It shouldn't be a challenge to get right. It's just that it's a bad technology in general. It's like, it's a fucking 3D rendered world. You should just be able to convert that into 3D in like 2 seconds, but it's not. That's not how it works. So it's such a big hassle to go through that no one actually bothers to do it properly.
So then, surely it's special when someone does.
No, it's a big fat waste of time when someone does.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I liked the 3D a lot in Tomb Raider. It had a couple of major flaws, like some of the reflections didn't work very well. A couple of textures just disappeared in one eye. In places like for decals, I guess, decals, whatever you want to call them. It's not perfect, but it's pretty goddamn good. And it did push my system quite a bit. If I turned on all the geometry shaders and turned on the lighting right
That's
up.
not actually an indication of how good the graphics was. That's just an indication of how optimized it was.
I know, but geometry shaders are a pretty hardcore thing to have. I'm surprised they're there. Let's put it that way. I'm surprised Square Enix did such a, or I guess it's one of the IDOS teams, put that much effort into the PC port. Because ultimately that's what it is. It's a port of a console game, and they did that. I wonder. I suppose it. Maybe now that we know that they're doing that definitive edition for PS4 and Xbox One next year, which is basically the PC version with all the graphics turned on, that maybe they had that in mind from the start.
Yeah.
But at the time, I guess, it was until they announced that, still kind of surprising that they went to that effort. I think it was a good-looking game.
Absolutely.
Shame about the story.
That was really, but is it? It's probably not better looking than Battlefield 4. I think if we're honest there.
No.
No. Okay. Cool.
I mean, some of the water in Battlefield 4 I think looks fantastic. The dam level, where the water's got that kind of greeny, filthy look to it.
Right, yeah.
Like a proper murky river.
I don't think I ever go near that water on that level.
No,
so I never see that.
I like dossing around in rib boats on that level. But it's like it's a proper murky green looking river, and I think that's the first time I've seen a river look like that, and it looks real. It's it's a realistic looking thing.
Some of the other water isn't as great.
Some of the other water, I'll admit, is a bit shonky. And the fact that, because the waves are so big, the way the boats just pass through them sometimes looks a bit dodgy.
Well, they didn't put nearly enough, wakes and stuff.
Cat needs to start moving her food bowl.
Yeah, Cat does. They didn't put enough wakes and waves and that kind of stuff. It's just
Yeah, wakes would have been nice.
There's no kind of effects in addition to the actual water. It's just here's the water, it's wavy, which is cool, and it actually, has...
But then the boats are just, clipping through it.
Yeah. I mean, on Parcel Storm, whatever you want to call that level, it is kind of nice just how big the waves fucking are. Yeah. I mean, that's new to a game
also,
like this.
They made a really bad decision where they were just let's have it so we have these gigantic waves and you have these boats. Except, the dudes on the back are just standing in the fucking open.
Yeah.
And when you go under an entire wave...
Yeah, these guys... Yeah. Yeah,
I think there were pretty big waves in that new Assassin's Creed as well.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, but in terms of a shooter, that's...
Yeah.
And it's new for Battlefield, and... I mean, it kind of makes sense, it is just boat-to-boat combat, and it's a specific boat-to-boat stuff in Assassin's Creed, isn't it? But...
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it's cool. It's kind of fun, when you're trying to when you're in a boat trying to, add sea support to, people on the ground, and you're, trying to juggle and time your shots so you're at the top of this wave, and I can see these guys.
Well, you can just shoot straight through the water as well.
Well, yeah, you can, but then you need the extra height of being on top of the wave sometimes to get be able to see some areas. I don't know. I think it's cool.
The water doesn't seem to affect bullets, because I was shooting with a support gun straight through a wave. And it was still going exactly where I was aiming when the wave wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't know what's supposed to happen.
Well, presumably the bullet would slow down a lot.
A bit of refraction
in real life.
Thing. Yeah. It would be like refraction, but for bullets.
Well, I think in real life, if you shoot a bullet into a water tank, it just pretty much stops it, doesn't it? Because they use those to catch bullets at test ranges for when they're doing those slow motion shooting through stuff. They just have a big 8 gallons of water behind it, and that catches it.
I don't know. I'm not sure it would slow down enough. It depends how much those shots from Saving Private Ryan are real. With bullets zipping through the water.
Well, it goes down a meter, I'm sure. It probably goes through a big long line of water, but not an entire wave like those ones are, when it's the entire crest of the wave is in front of you.
No, you're probably right. Or there'd be some sort of skip or some sort of deviation at least.
Yeah.
It's but that's game, not looks.
No. But yeah, the water doesn't. That's the other way that those waves where they needed the wakes and stuff, because the water when the waves hit anything, it just has no effect. When you're on that ruined aircraft carrier and the waves are coming up onto the end of it, there's no effect. It's just the waves just clip through however much of the wave is showing at the moment.
Yeah, I need to work on that, but that is a difficult problem in general, to be honest. But perhaps could have spooshed it with some particle effects, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Spooshed it. And sparks look good. The HDR lighting is impressive, and I'm always kind of drawn to when someone's repairing a tank nearby, and you've got that massive shower of orange.
Maybe a bit much, considering the tiny little mini handheld blowtorch they're using.
It is definitely a bit much, but but it looks cool. So Battlefield 4 then?
Sounds like it, doesn't it?
Anyone in disagreement?
I think it looks... Well, technically, yeah. It's got to be the winner, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
I mean, I kind of agree with what Jeff from Giant Bomb was saying, that, modern military shooter aesthetic isn't exactly the most appealing, I suppose. But
no.
If you just want if we're just basing it on technical merit, then Battlefield 4 is pretty incredible. And I can run it at 60 on my machine with most things turned on, so...
The most important thing.
Yeah. Somewhat. It's kind of well optimized.
Yeah, optimized and performance. Very important.
Good stuff. So
Cool.
there we go. Winner. Battlefield 4. Best
Hurrah.
graphics technical. Whoop, 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 whoop. And bits of my page have just disappeared, so I can't see what
That's great.
Oh no,
Yeah.
iPad malfunction.
Yeah. Hang on, let me... Oh no.
What have you done to
I
it?
try to scroll it off the page. Wow, it's just not rendering that bit of the page. There we go.
Hey.
Alright, so next category is Best Surprise of the Year. And I've not necessarily limited this to games. Like,
First bit of news of the year.
yeah, what was the thing that sort of caught us off guard? What game did we expect to be crap but ended up being good? Or what news were we just not expecting at all? But made us
What
smart.
worst surprise of the year was, which is not most disappointing.
Well, I suppose that is different, yeah.
Yeah, it's like worst surprise of the year was Starfield coming out in December. Because god damn it, it had been touted to be like the whole game was going to come out in 2013 at one point, and then they sat there with their beta thing for the entire year, saying like beta's coming, beta's coming.
I didn't think I was that. It got to a point where it wasn't surprising anymore.
No, but like at the start of the year it was a surprise.
Maybe.
But anyway,
Stuff not coming out, I'm not sure it's a surprise. So yeah, best surprise. I put Killer Instinct on here because
Okay.
Killer Instinct was never really regarded as a good fighter. I guess it was.
Not really.
no, but that doesn't really mean anything in the age of reboots.
No, true.
Like, you can make any game a good game now.
But it's like. I think it was
you can make a
surprising.
Sonic fighting game; it'd be fine.
Probably right. But they kept what made they kept the elements of Killer Instinct, but made them good.
Yeah.
And it's like, and made a pretty nice looking, well-rounded fighting game overall. And it was from Double Helix, which no one really has much faith in. So
Apparently they will now.
yeah,
Potentially.
maybe they will turn into a fighting game studio on the back of this.
Yeah.
Probably
seems-
not though.
You never know.
But once you find your niche, I guess a lot of developers tend to stick to it. But
I don't think that counts as finding their niche. There's like tiny, like downloadable game.
it's not tiny. It's small for a fighting game, I suppose. But they are planning at least another season of characters, so there's going to be another
Yeah, but that's still
8 to come.
That's still not like Mortal Kombat's content, where they actually have a story and other shit. It's
no,
just
the
like
story
it's
mode's
literally just
coming.
a fight.
But story mode's coming, and
Yeah, but that won't be. That'll be a classic like arcade style story mode. It'll just be like fight everyone until the end.
yeah, maybe. They said, I think they've said it's supposed. They might do it. I can't remember, to be honest, but it may be a story mode per character, and then they're releasing Orchid's story first
Right.
or something. How they monetize that, I don't know. Like, is it going to be attached that if you've bought that character, you get access to their story? Not sure. I think that would make a lot of sense. Yeah. And all that I think is supposed to be happening in March, or maybe January. Can't really remember.
Right.
So it's not that far away. But anyway, yeah, that was it. I was surprised they made another typing of the Dead.
I don't think that's a very good surprise. It's okay, but it's not really. It's not. They just. I mean, it is just that game again with the typing put in.
But yeah, that's all Typing of the Dead was, the original.
Yeah, but it's like
It's
that's
House
not
of the Dead
surprising any
too,
longer. It's like
Yeah.
they made there's this House of the Dead game around, and people fucking love Typing of the Dead. So why not put that in? It's more of a surprise they didn't do it in the first place. Every
like-
PC release of of House of the Dead should have Typing of the Dead built in.
It's true.
You may be right. Maybe it was more of a surprise that they ended up bringing it to PS3 for the Move controller when they
Yeah.
after updating it all after they made the Wii version.
But that's not a very good
But
surprise.
yeah,
That's like a we don't care surprise.
yeah. I mean, I've got it, so we'll end up seeing if it's actually any fun. But I don't know, it's kind of funny that it exists. Plants vs Zombie Garden Warfare announcement.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't-
Oh,
I don't know about that being a very
The fact that that's
enthusiastic
terrible.
surprise either.
I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, but it's not like...
Oh, right, that thing. I thought...
I wouldn't say it's like, holy shit. It's just like, yeah, that might be okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Looks like it might be fun. And something different, because, I'm not massively keen on Plants vs. Zombies 2. It just seems kind of boring. But when there's Garden Warfare, it's like, holy crap, Plants vs. Zombies as a sort of like...
as a firefight mode.
Yeah. I think it could work really well.
Yeah, but probably, it's like... Well, I say probably. It's probably going to be real simple. Probably.
Maybe, but that sometimes can be the key to making it fun.
For a while, yeah, but probably won't last.
Well, I don't know. They've got a lot of zombie types to pull on, and they've got a lot of plant types to pull on, which means that there could be a ton of classes and a ton of enemies. And that's all you really need from a horde mode game, is tons.
Maybe.
I don't know.
So,
I mean, after Plants vs. Zombies 2, and I suppose they're not really related, but that could be up for most disappointing in some ways. Not really.
Perhaps. Although it's worth mentioning that they have changed the structure of that game since its launch, which makes it more linear and less backtracky, I suppose. But it doesn't mean it takes longer to get anywhere. It's about the same length to get anywhere if you're going free to play, but you now have to play every level, every target, and all that stuff in a linear fashion.
Right. Okay.
It's probably better for it. But regardless, yeah, PvZ. I'd play it every now and then, but I don't know. I think maybe the moment's passed for PvZ like that. But,
seems like it.
But yeah, I'm happy that Garden Warfare exists. And my last best surprise I've got on this list is the Steam news, the Steam OS, the Steam Machine, and the Steam Controller.
That's too early to say whether that's a good surprise or not. It might turn out to be boringly average.
Maybe, but I think
the Steam Controller was a bit of a surprise. It
has the potential to shake things up. I see what you mean. It may be the biggest surprise, but I'm not sure can we call it the best surprise?
No.
At this point. I'm sure there must be more, but those were the four that stood out to me. There must be more things we didn't expect.
Well, no one... I mean, we kind of were suspecting a Steam bots for a while, but that controller, I guess, was kind of new. A bit of a surprise. I mean, we knew they were doing something with controls, but I thought it was going to be all weird and motiony and have, like... They kept talking about biofeedback and shit. Like, that's not in the controller, as far as I know. Like, it's not measuring your pulse.
They say that has the rumble on the touchpads or whatever is their idea of biofeedback.
Well, that's haptic, but I thought it was going to be like measuring your pulse and working out if you're afraid.
Well, it probably can, I guess.
Maybe if it's that sensitive.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of. But in the middle of a game, would you be able to read that accurately?
Don't know.
Depends what sort
You'd
of game.
You'd have to hold it still for a while, surely.
I mean, they claim the Kinect 2 can do it, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
do it just by looking at you.
Yeah, I don't trust that because I tried Xbox Fitness fairly recently, and I tried it one time straight after the other. Like before I'd even started doing anything, you could make it sort of like, "Hey, look at my face. What's my heart rate?" And it will tell you. And then I tried it again immediately. I went, "Hey, what's my face?" And it, what's my face? Yeah.
Hey, what's my face?
What's the heart rate in my face?
Xbox face me.
The number it gave me was quite different.
Well, that's the point, isn't it?
But I hadn't done anything.
Oh, I thought you said after.
No, it was right after. Sorry, it was immediately after I did it the first time. It went to 160 the first time, and I was like, "Fuck, that can't be right."
I hope not.
That can't be right. Am I just naturally red-faced or something? And think, man, you're fucking working out right now. But I think I wonder it probably gets affected by orange light in the room and stuff like that. I don't see how that can be accurate. Unless you can specifically tell it. Right, look at my face. I'm at 90 right now. Whatever. That's all I got, really.
Okay, well...
I'm not even sure there was much I'm not sure there was really anything massively surprising coming out of any of the console reveals or...
No.
I mean, it was a big surprise when Microsoft did a massive 180.
It's another not really best surprise.
Yeah.
It was a surprise.
Well, I don't know. It's it was both good and bad because it's. I mean, I suppose the argument for the DRM is it would have allowed Microsoft to try pushing like the gaming distribution forward, I suppose. But it may have been at the expense of us, I suppose. The consumer expense may have gone up because Microsoft would have had more control. Undoubtedly would have gone up looking at the digital stores. But
yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think it seemed good at the time. I mean, the main thing about it was the key thing is the surprisingness of it, rather than whether it was good or bad. I suppose, isn't it? Like I never
best surprise
after that. Most surprising surprise, I think, is more
most surprise
makes more most surprise is makes more sense to me because like. After that reveal, I thought they would never I never thought they would respond to any kind of pressure at all. I thought they would just say, "Oh no, it's already done. It's already decided. This is a machine for watching TV or whatever, and we're doing all this crazy DRM shit, and we're not changing anything." By the sounds
of it, though, at the time they announced all of this stuff, I don't think either of the consoles were sounds like neither of them or the infrastructure around them could have been very complete.
Right. But they made it sound like they were already.
Given how much it is sort of still missing from the consoles that both companies, both Sony and Microsoft, were talking about that just aren't there, and it's
and clearly how little actual thought they put into use cases, or it's a friends thing. And
some of the user design is not great. Yeah.
And I don't have very long to test it.
And some of it feels like they're weird step backs. I think a lot of this stuff is still pretty unfinished, I think, in terms of where Microsoft want it to be.
That's for the next category.
Yeah, there is some stuff that carries over there. But I'm not sure really how much of a surprise this year was, really.
My best surprises in games was Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, because I didn't expect that to be good.
I suppose,
and it was.
Yeah, that's
pretty good. That's pretty good.
And I guess not really as much, but I've been playing it literally yesterday and today.
Oh, really?
That Reese game is pretty good, but not that amazing.
And what's your surprise that Reyes or Reese
or whatever you want to call
it? Reyes? I want to say Reyes because it looks like Latin.
Probably. What does Reyes mean in Latin?
I don't know.
Oh, well, then that would be how you'd know if it was Latin or not.
It's not like some form of Rex, is it? Or
no, maybe. But anyway, that game's pretty okay. And it was surprising because I didn't think it was going to be, but it was. But that's not actually...
I thought it looked up your street.
That's not actually that surprising. Not as much as Pokemon, where it's just holy shit, it's a Pokemon game that's actually different and good.
That's not Pokemon. Not the main series.
Yeah.
I suppose you're right. That is quite surprising, really.
Okay, well, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, that'll do. It's an actual game. And nothing else really surprised me.
I guess it's surprising to us, but they did have Mystery Dungeons before that, did they?
Well, yeah.
So maybe there were people that would have been into the series. It's probably not a surprise. They probably know exactly what was coming.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
So I guess
that's a surprise to us.
It was a definite surprise to us, yeah.
I wouldn't have expected it to be good.
Even though I knew there was other ones, I wouldn't have expected it to be... That whole series would have been good, supposedly.
What about the surprise that Dan wants a Wii U?
Yeah.
That's also maybe not a best surprise, that's just a surprise.
It makes sense, though.
It's good for Nintendo.
I was reading somebody claiming that the Wii U outsold the Xbox One for Christmas. I don't know what market they were talking about. Or whether they were talking about a certain period that didn't include the launch period or something, because it doesn't sound right to me.
I don't know.
I read it somewhere.
It sounds like it could be... The Wii U is probably a more giftable machine, in a way.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly cheaper.
Yeah, not just for that. Well, and availability and stuff. There were spikes of availability throughout the Christmas buying season. When I was in town, Game and HMV had them in stock. Not many, but they had a few, apparently. Big billboards out the side saying, "We've got a few!" I think what happened, from what I've been hearing, is that quite a lot of people tried to play the eBay game this year.
Right.
Bought the consoles early, tried to sell them for megabucks on eBay, found that people are not stupid, and then returned them. So a lot of the in-stockedness was from returns.
Yeah,
that's the problem. I guess that's the problem with the internet and people knowing about these tricks is that everyone thinks, yeah, I can make a quick buck, and of course now you can't.
No,
because everyone does it.
I don't think you could anyway, because it's not there's not like supply was that low this time round.
No, they did a pretty good job of supply this time round. I don't know of anyone that hasn't received a console that they wanted or wasn't able to pick one up. So, is that a surprise that they got their shit together?
Maybe. Not an amazing surprise.
No, is it less surprising after Nintendo got it right? And then... Well, that might have been because no one wanted it.
Exactly. That wasn't a surprise. That there was tons of Wii U sitting around.
Yeah. So what do we got? What are our top points? Killer Instinct we sort of thought was good. I think PvZ we had less of a response from you guys about. That was probably just me. SteamOS, not sure if that was a good surprise yet until we really get some... Well, until it evolves, I suppose.
Because it could just pretty much disappear at this point and no one would be that surprised.
True. I mean, it does have the potential to change, have a big impact on the industry.
Yeah.
But probably only the high end of the market.
Right.
Because these are just PCs, so the bits will be expensive, and until people start building console-like machines.
Well, I guess that's supposed to be the
Microsoft
idea.
prices, I guess. Yeah. I mean, until that happens, and I think we're a long way from that, it's a bit up in the air as to whether or not it will come together.
I mean, it could be the impetus for people to port their games to Linux or whatever might be a big deal. You know, if they get the graphics drivers right or whatever. I mean, that might be end up being the biggest deal. You know, the actual Steam machines might not... I mean, I think they're cool, but they might not matter if people start installing SteamOS and dual booting and stuff.
Yeah, I think that seems more plausible as an outcome, that people will be putting SteamOS as a second boot on their PCs. Because I think even with SteamOS, even if that does gain traction, I think we're still going to be in a situation where you're going to need to, if you want the full gaming landscape, you're going to need to have a dual booting scenario. I don't think we're going to be... Windows is here to stay for a good long time yet.
Oh, of course,
But the Linux option is going to... Yeah, but I don't doubt at this point Valve's ability to provide more performance through Linux versions of things.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, but before it's truly actually better performance. Yeah. I mean, it has a potential to be better performance because there'll be less overhead, but I mean, the graphic drivers...
That's what I mean. By all of that logic, it's like... it's not necessarily best at this point.
No. Okay.
It's a surprise that all of this stuff came together, I guess, but it's not necessarily best because we've got no metric by which to judge its quality.
Indeed.
Can you have a quality of surprise? Actually thinking about it.
What's the most high quality surprise of 2013?
Just the purest quality surprise.
I don't know how to judge that. I have no idea.
It's like saying most surprising again.
Yeah.
That's how you qualify surprises. It's like, how surprising was it?
Yeah.
I suppose. But best surprise indicates how much we have benefited and how much we like it. Yeah. Not just how much. It's like a combination of everything about a surprise.
Yeah.
The most smile-inducing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to rule that one out, I think, on those grounds. Xbox DRM, I think, is valid. And Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, I think, is valid. And the fact that both Dan and I want a Wii U.
That's not a surprise for you, though.
That may not be the best surprise again, because that just means now...
It's not a surprise. It's not any kind of surprise. Smash Bros. Is coming out, therefore Wii U.
Yeah, but the fact that I want a Wii U before now...
Okay, that is slightly surprising.
Yeah. That I kind of started looking at prices and sort of weighing up deals and stuff. And I don't have the ability to buy a Wii U right now, but...
We'll get there.
So which of those... Where do you guys sit on those?
I quite like Pokemon for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, maybe when Rob actually gets a 3DS, whenever that happens.
I don't know. I think I'm off portables.
Yeah.
I'm out. I sort of. Oh, I always end up with this slight feel of annoyance when there's a game that comes out on 3DS that I think is really good, but it would be just as good if there was some way of playing a version of it on a console or on PC. And I just sort of go,
That always happens
really?
with mobile games. They just I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's less true for 3DS because it's like it actually has a 3D and a different 2 screens and a touchscreen.
A PC could do 3D. My PC could do 3D.
Couldn't do touchscreen though.
It couldn't do touchscreen. No, but I'm not sure. Have there really been many games that actually use the touchscreen?
Well, not the games that I play.
No, exactly. And those are the games I kind of want to play.
Yeah, I guess.
And there's not really been much touchscreen innovation, I suppose.
No.
All of that, I guess, is on iOS platforms now. But I think I can be swayed for Pokemon, if that's what you guys want.
I don't know. Is that what Zach wants?
Of course it is.
Okay.
My most surprising thing.
So, yeah. Best surprise of the year, Zach bought a game expecting it to be shit, but it's not shit.
Well, I don't
It's
think I
not
even bought it. That was the one that I got free.
Oh, yeah.
That was why it was for the free one, because I was like, it's got to be bad.
That's gotta be terrible, surely. But no.
Or at least average. But it was better than average. So success.
A zero money surprise. That is a pretty good surprise.
Yep. Well, technically zero money. I had to buy, like...
The 3DS.
Yeah, I had to buy 2 games that I wasn't necessarily going to buy. Like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, but you put a lot of time in that.
Yeah.
That worked out quite well. So Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Yep.
Best surprise of the year. Possibly out of ignorance.
Well, that's how surprises work, really.
Yeah, apparently. Awesome. Okay.
Pokemon
Next.
Mystery Dungeon.
Category.
Gates to Infinity, is it? Gates of Infinity?
Yeah, Gates of Infinity.
Gates of Infinity. There you go. Alright. And now for the complete opposite. The biggest disappointment.
But that's not necessarily surprising disappointment.
Well,
It could be something that you knew was going to be crap. Now your phone's ringing.
No.
Oh, the one time my landline rings.
Ever.
Yeah.
So what have you got written down for most disappointing? I'll lean really close to the microphone. That's not going to help.
Wait till the phone stops.
I'm guessing
I can't make this quieter.
there was a game about some kind of simulated kind of urban.
Surprisingly, that's third on Rob's list.
Okay. What else we got?
Sorry about that.
Right, now Rob's back.
Why does this always happen recently? We've had a lot of runs of bad interruptions. Phones. Anyway, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the most disappointing game of 2013, I believe.
So I'm assuming you mentioned SimCity then.
Yeah, Rob. Dan kind of did.
Yeah. That's come up a lot this year.
But was Zach was really, you were quite disappointed, right? I mean, because it was busted, right? And
Well,
it was going to be awesome, surely. It looked like it was going to be cool. God damn it, I was going to play it.
I don't know if I, like... I don't know, maybe I was just always cynical about it. Maybe it wasn't actually that surprising a disappointment, where it was like...
But it was disappointing.
It's probably never going to be as good as they say it is, and it wasn't.
But it was quite far off being as good as they said, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, even if it wasn't that much of an improvement over SimCity 4, I think most people would have been okay with it. But it was the fact that it was
Totally different.
Well, not just totally different can be okay, but like it was totally different in a way that didn't really work.
Yeah.
Launched with too many bugs. Just didn't function as as the game should.
So what else we got? Because it's probably
I've got
SimCity.
a similar note, I suppose, is Battlefield 4 launching. It launched in a pretty bad state.
Right. Yeah.
For PS4 version especially, I think suffered the.
But we chose not to get involved with it, so we weren't disappointed as much.
No, by the time we dove in, what is it? About a month or two later, everything seems okay. So we're all right. We're not that disappointed, but I'd imagine the world was. I've got Crimson Dragon on here because God damn it. Honestly, god damn it. I was quite looking forward to that.
Yeah,
it just turned out to be something I really don't want.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of always didn't. I don't know. Everything I saw of it made me think this isn't going to be as good as Panzer Dragoon. But even so, it was really quite.
You held hope.
Yeah, I mean, with the model that they went with is so weird and mental. I don't know what they were thinking.
So the whole transaction model is a bit bizarre. It's like perhaps if they had designed it as a free to play, then I don't think many people would have had a problem with it. Maybe
that's true.
If they had just released it as a free to play, I think
maybe they were planning on it, and then because it. It was
maybe Microsoft stepped in at some point and said, well, it's a launch game. You can make some moolah off this.
Exactly. Because people haven't got anything else to buy, and they might have fond memories of Panzer Dragoon, which you can now craft.
It's very cynical of us, but,
don't know.
Plausible.
Yeah.
If it was a free-to-play game, I don't think I'd feel so bad about it. I'd wade in, see what it was about, and it would probably get a bit of play out of me. Probably wouldn't get any money out of me, but it would get a bit of play, and I wouldn't feel so bad about it. So other entries I've got are, well, these are more me sort of stuff, I suppose. Smart Glass hasn't really fulfilled its potential, I don't think.
Right, okay.
It's like, it doesn't feel like they've really advanced it. It doesn't seem to be matching their original promises still.
Even though you've got the whole new console and everything, and all the new software. Yeah.
There should be some stuff I think that should reflect exactly what's going on screen, because that new UI especially, it just looks so touchable.
Yeah, and what about, it's supposed to be used in games and stuff all the time, isn't it? I haven't seen much of that.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. I think Microsoft may have dropped their rule of, like, every game that's published by them has to have some Smart Glass stuff.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Forza doesn't.
Right, and that's a big one. Probably the biggest.
I mean, Dead Rising has it. Dead Rising may be the most complete use of Smart Glass, but
right, yeah,
because that actually adds stuff.
Well, the games where they really showed that off haven't come out yet. That game that hasn't got out yet.
I mean, some of it is like not even a lot of the sort of second screen stuff that people are excited about. I suppose are stuff that's not directly tied to Smart Glass. It's things like the commander mode, I guess, in Battlefield.
Or,
some of the overview stuff in, is it The Crew or Division? Those games that had the trailers where they zoomed out at the end.
Yeah, exactly. All those that haven't come out yet.
Yeah, that will almost certainly have a second screen thing. The Watch Dogs second screen thing. All of that stuff is not Smart Glass. That's an app outside of the thing. But that's the sort of stuff that Smart Glass perhaps should be doing. But they probably don't have the ability to download enough, or I don't know. There's probably some communication problem of getting that to work well. But what I say to them is, well, look at what the old look at what the GBA did.
Attach it with a cable.
Well, now you have Wi-Fi to do that. Why can't you do that?
Yeah,
I suppose there's the reasonable technical challenge there. You probably have to make some sort of platform for coding things up that could then be transferred across somehow, and that may be a challenge across multiple platforms, unless you say, hey, it's got to be an HTML5 thing.
Yeah,
which may be limiting at the moment, I guess. But
because that's kind of new stuff, isn't it? I suppose. But they could get there. But it is a bit disappointing compared to the promise, I suppose. But I don't know if it really competes with. It's good to talk about, but goddamn, Crimson Dragon and SimCity. Oh.
I got a few more things, like
okay.
The fact that there's been no Kinect lineup this year.
Oh well.
Like, at all. I'm not sure that's surprising, but even on launch, there's not really been any Kinect games come out.
It's crazy because the Kinect is like 10 times better now, but no one's.
There's that demo for Kinect Sports Rivals, but I'm not sure that counts. But
no, I don't think it does.
And that seems fine. But this leads into my next point, which is that Kinect performance is still a little too spotty for my tastes. Like, I had to run the calibration again before using Xbox Fitness because it thought the floor was in my chest, and so it was getting my center of gravity all kinds of wrong. Presumably that was affecting my score. I didn't really hang around long enough to check. It just looks weird. So I was like, right, I better set this up again. And the shiny floor of my house, well, laminate flooring seems to be a problem for it now, which is kind of disappointing. And, the voice recognition stuff just isn't as hot as it should be.
Yeah, they never really promised it, but it's just disappointing because it seems like they're like halfway
They
there
sort
or
of
something.
did on their promo videos, didn't they? They had, I can never remember their name, but they had two of the guys that would always get up on stage doing that in-house demo of like what sort of commands you could tell it and things. I'm not sure its noise cancelling is that great, because if there are certain things, like when orchestral music is playing, it seems to not work at all.
Weird.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is. Do you think it's the same kind of register or something? I don't know.
It's just something about its cancellation and its directional mics just don't. It might just be it's almost certainly something to do with my setup, but the fact that it doesn't work in my setup is a disappointment.
Yeah.
So not as good as I think everyone would have hoped, I don't think. And I've got just a very big generic one here. The Xbox reveal on the whole.
Right.
When they said, the first Xbox One reveal show.
Yeah, that thing.
Wow, that was bad.
The television show.
That's disappointing.
Of course it's disappointing. There's me going, yeah, new Xbox time, come on. And then they end up talking about NFL for like 10 minutes.
Well, you mean you weren't incredible? You mean you were surprised that there was a press conference and it was bad?
Well, it's not that a bad press conference is one thing. I'd be quite happy with a bad press conference because it's kind of funny. It's the fact that it's a bad press conference that actually doesn't tell me anything I want to hear.
That's the definition of a bad press conference.
No, you can have a bad press conference that tells you useful stuff, but it's just a shit production.
Yeah, but when does that ever happen?
Ubisoft stuff, I hate their production. It's like,
Yeah, but they don't tell you anything anyway.
I show you games.
Yeah, but that's not actually part of the press conference. That's trailers. The bit that's the press conference is basically nothing. It's like a guy comes on stage, says something dumb, and then presents a trailer.
I don't know if you can separate those things, because like the trailer reveals is part of the big deal of a press conference. It's like, hey, we've got this new thing to show you. Here it is. Just because it's on a screen.
It's the other information, and that was what was like.
Well, the Microsoft one had none of that. They were like, well, hey, you can watch TV, you can do that stuff, which was kind of interesting, but there were no games. The problem with the reveal was that there were practically no game talk. Everything was always tied into TV in some way. Even when they brought out the concept of Halo, they were talking about a Halo TV show, and it's like, I don't think anyone wanted to see
TV show.
I don't think anyone wanted to see that. That thing should have come after the E3 stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
It was the wrong way around to do it, and it was a bummer. It was a real bummer because all anyone then had to talk about was what the fuck afterwards, and it generated all that negative shit. And no one wants to see that. Let's be honest. No one. That's disappointing to everyone. Except you, who doesn't care about consoles.
Yeah.
The other, I've got two more things here. One of them is a minor one, which is Watch Dogs didn't come out.
Yeah.
Not really surprising, but everyone was, for a lot of people, that was what they wanted to get as their launch game.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame.
And I guess possibly the biggest is THQ's closure. Because that's a massive publisher going under.
I don't know if that's that disappointing. They had put out that many amazing things recently. That's Volition, though. That's not really THQ.
Well, THQ publish it.
Yeah, but that's a publish. Anyone could publish it in theory.
Yeah, but when a publisher goes down, the studios that they invest in often go.
Yeah, but that was just Volition being unlucky that they got shoved over to THQ from wherever they were before. I can't remember.
They've been at THQ for ages.
Yeah, but. It's like Volition was the one thing in THQ that probably was still doing okay with Red Faction and all the rest of it.
They published You Don't Know Jack.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the Dawn of War guys or whatever, the Company of Heroes. Relic, is that right?
Yeah, Relic was THQ as well.
But they're all fine, aren't they?
I mean, I can't remember the details now, but there's a lot of them have ended up being fine because a lot of people ended up buying them out in places like Sega now own those guys and own the Relic team. And I think for the most part, you're right. Yeah, things worked out okay for the devs, and those are the guys I suppose we should be most most worried about, I suppose. But they were big. I mean, I don't like to see big publishers go down unless they are truly evil. And THQ, at least, I think, had the balls to try and do new stuff. To let someone do Saints Row 3. I mean, holy fuck. That's. Can you imagine EA putting out a Saints Row game?
No, I mean, not really.
I
Maybe
can't
once
imagine
it made a
Activision
ton of
putting
money.
out a Saints Row game.
Yeah, they would if it had made.
I don't even know what Activision is like any longer. Now it's just Blizzard, really.
Yeah, it's Blizzard and Call of Duty. That's it.
Yeah. They probably could have put out a Saints Row game because it's Blizzard's half would have been more humour, even though they're not the most humorous, but they're accepting of it.
I don't think Blizzard would want to associate with something like Saints Row.
Why not?
I think it's too much for them.
Really?
Blizzard are pretty safe.
I don't know. They've done crazy shit in the past.
World of cock gags.
Yep.
I don't see that happening.
That's pretty much what it is, isn't it?
Only because people made it that way. Blizzard didn't make that
exactly,
way.
But they set them groundwork to allow people to be dicks on the internet.
Mists of Dildonia. It's...
Yeah, exactly. They put goddamn fucking Kung Fu Pandas in. What's not comedy about that?
No, but I mean, that's safe. That's not adult humour.
No.
And that's... I don't think Blizzard would go anywhere near it, but... Blizzard have never gone anywhere near that stuff. They barely swear.
It wasn't like Saints Row was non-stop cocks all the time. That wasn't the whole basis of its humour and adultness.
Quite
cocks.
It was quite... I don't know. It's very adult. Let's put it that way. But mature. Mature in the immaturest sense.
Like, you put out Spore. That was cock central.
I suppose the only time I think Blizzard go sort of controversial, I suppose, is Diablo with the
devil.
Yeah, going ultra satanic, but people dig that shit, so it's fine.
So, where are we?
Yeah, which of those bummed you out the most?
I know the general Xbox launch was a bum out. Yeah, it's true.
For me,
I think I probably would have bought one by now. Probably, I don't know if things had been different at that reveal.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's my personal two big ones, I guess, are the Xbox reveal and Crimson Dragon. But I'm sort of with you in that towards the end of its cycle, I suppose Crimson Dragon was starting to look a little like it would fail. But I held out hope. But then everyone expected SimCity to be good.
I was really excited for SimCity. I don't know why. I probably should have.
It turned out to be possibly the biggest disaster of the year.
SimCity
I'm not even sure there's a possibly there. It was the biggest game disaster of the year.
Pretty much.
Absolutely. It was a PR disaster as well. And it's bloody EA. God damn it. So, yeah.
I mean, EA have actually had, in some ways, they've probably had a really bad year, which will come back later in the worrying trend stuff. I don't think this can go... I mean, I know we said this right from the start, but I'm not sure it can go anywhere other than SimCity.
Yeah, it's got to be SimCity. Yeah.
I mean, the Xbox reveal was pretty bad, but SimCity, oh my god.
Yeah.
Most disappoint.
Forgot what the category were. Best disappointing.
Biggest disappointment. Let's call it that. SimCity.
Okay. SimCity. Okay.
I don't even like the name. The fact that it's like just SimCity.
Yeah.
It's like
the SimCity. Yeah.
God damn it.
Oh, your pages are rendering again.
Yeah, fortunately, the next category is super tiny because I've only got one entry for it that you guys may need to add. Because I just wanted to note that I think Well, it's called the most forgotten game, like, because I think it's on every now and then you get a release come out that's, you know, perhaps from a franchise that was a big deal but is no longer a big deal, and the game just kind of gets forgotten. I mean, and for me, that game was Gears of War Judgment this year.
Yeah,
It's like, who the fuck is talking about that now?
Yeah,
It's
what
just-
happened to that? I didn't even.
It was boringly average, was what happened to that.
Well, it was just another Gears of War game. I mean, but they did some interesting stuff on the multiplayer side. I had to look into this because I remember nothing about this fucking game.
Yeah.
Hence most forgotten. But they did some stuff like with doing some asymmetric multiplayer stuff, like Locust versus Humans thing, which I think they kind of started going down that road in Gears of War 3, but they kind of expanded upon it in a way that's pretty interesting. It was their sort of take on Horde mode, I think, where, you know, you can take control of the Locust as well, and the various types of Locust and yada yada yada. But other than that, it is just, yeah, it's a side story about bed.
Right.
People like, apparently.
Well, apparently not like enough to not forget his side
That it even
story.
existed. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, you know, this was the one Gears of War game I didn't buy into. I was sort of tempted at the time, but just didn't, and then forgot about it. So hence the category. But this is the only thing I have in the category, because which probably means that there's something more forgotten because I've forgotten it.
Well, what about Zach? Zach's been through you've been through all the games that got released this year. Did any strike you as like, oh yeah, remember that thing?
Well, we could say that the other XCOM game was pretty goddamn forgotten, because it was like they
Enemy
tried
Within.
to re-hype after actual XCOM came out, but it
Yeah.
didn't really work, and then no one cared, and it just came out, and then no one cared, and then it was boringly average again, and then no one cared.
Yeah, I suppose.
Was it boring the average? Okay,
Supposedly.
fair enough.
Well, the expansion we're talking about.
No, the other XCOM game.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
So there you go.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd forgotten about that. So there you go.
Wow.
The Bureau.
Yeah, the Bureau.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's it.
Yeah, fair enough. That'll do.
I had forgotten about that as well.
Ironically, we should give it to Remember Me, lols.
I don't think anyone.
No one cared about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was ever forgotten. I just don't think anyone ever knew about that.
No.
It's hard to forget something you were never told about.
I'm quite liking
Yeah,
the
I
Bureau. But yeah, because Gears of War Judgment, I was aware that it happened. I don't know. It's just
It didn't set the world on fire.
no. They didn't do any like crazy. Because with Gears of War 3, they had like Cliffy B on stage, like with who did they have with them? Some was it
Oh God! Was it
Ice-T or
Exhibit
something?
1 year or something? Or
I can't remember. I think
Ice-T?
it might
Oh, it might have been
Ice-T.
Ice-T. It might have been
Yeah, it was
right,
Ice-T. Because he was the guy that was like
The Horde
nerd.
Lord.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they had that huge reveal of like the giant monster eating the ship and stuff, and they didn't have any of that stuff for Judgment because it was kind of a okay. Here's
They
an
probably
extra
didn't
bit.
have the budget. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it just made no impact at all. But yeah, the Bureau was, I don't know, that had been in development for so long. That was the XCOM game that it was going to be coming out before they even announced
Before XCOM.
Enemy Unknown. Yeah, exactly. And then it came out, and it's like it's not really like the original preview videos, even. Although I guess it has a similar concept, but it just didn't really. I don't know. Didn't really work. So, and I'd forgotten about it until now. So that.
Yeah. I didn't know what the fuck Zach was talking about until
Yeah.
the expansion pack, and like super boring. What are you talking about? It's like most people said it was cool. Oh, that XCOM.
The Bureau, man. Yeah, I think that might have to take it from my point of view.
Yeah, just for that reaction alone.
Yeah.
The most forgotten game of 2013, The
It's
Bureau.
The Bureau.
Such a cool name as well.
It's kind of, apart from the bit after that. It's like, XCOM declassified. Just add a bunch of extra words that are totally unnecessary.
It's got to have the word XCOM
tie it to
in
the
it.
XCOM brand.
They should have just called it the Bureau and detached it from XCOM. But then
Yeah, it
maybe
wouldn't have improved the
more
game,
forgotten.
though.
Yeah.
And it had mutons and things in it, so it was definitely XCOM.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't have to.
No,
they
it
could have
shouldn't
made their
have.
own alien designs
Yeah,
if they wanted.
just change the design slightly, and it could have been exactly the same game, exactly the same archetypes, just like.
Well, it was going to be it wasn't going to be an XCOM game originally,
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, that game was in development for way too long. It's a shame, really, because 2K Marin were kind of cool. I mean, they made Bioshock 2, and that was pretty good.
Yeah. Did
Considering.
Marine get shut down or something? Or
Yeah, they got shut down.
yeah. I mean, that's a shame.
I guess, yeah. I mean, those people will go on to work on better games, I expect. So,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Or form a shit ton more indie titles.
Yeah,
More
sure.
indie studios. That seems to be the way now.
And not get messed around tacking some license to some game or whatever, and then, I don't know, all going horribly wrong.
So, next category. The most baffling decision or dumbest thing of the year.
Thing. And the nominees are...
The Xbox One reveal comes up again for being
'cause that was
super
dumb.
baffling.
Yep,
Yeah.
and baffling.
Actually, I'm gonna move that one. I've got a duplicate here that's really a worrying trend, not a dumbest thing, but it's sort of the same thing, I guess. But I'll leave that for worrying trend. The Peggle 2 Happy Jump at E3. It's pretty dumb.
It was pretty dumb.
And all of SimCity's design.
Yeah, that was dumb. And also the PR reaction to the SimCity disaster was really dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be worth adding some of the party system from Xbox One to this list.
Being dumb. Yeah,
but
pretty much.
Well, it does kind of work, but it's not. It's just not as good as the 360's version. Not by a long shot. And it's
Step
and
backwards.
in a weird way, they might actually still be ahead of PS4, which is the other weird thing. Like PSN's capabilities don't seem to actually have improved much from the PS3, from what I've been hearing. I mean, none of us have first-hand experience on that, but it's the PS4 apparently just feels like PS3 again, which for some people is fine. But for those that have been spoilt on Xbox 360 liveness, still kind of surprising, I suppose, that they haven't caught up. Like Kippers was having a rant about trophy syncing. It still fucking happens.
Yeah.
And it's still bad. And he also doesn't like the... Well, actually, that's another category. I won't get into that yet. So yeah, that's all I've really got on this front this year. Not a great deal of super baffling stuff, apart from SimCity, I suppose.
Well, the Xbox reveal was pretty dumb. We've already talked about this, though, but
Yeah.
it's true.
I mean, I just don't understand how this got through. Like, what conversations were had with their PR teams and even the guys, the big movers and shakers in that division that are, up on stage all the time. At what point did someone think that was a good idea? You're releasing a games console. The people that are going to be watching the reveal...
Yeah, well, it was
gonna be the
internal Microsoft people. That's the thing. They got it wrong because it's going to be the hardcore people watching it. But they tried to put it on TV and aim it towards the not hardcore at all people who apparently.
That's not what you do with a reveal, is it? It's like
no, they screwed it up.
I mean, the thing when people get excited for movie trailers, they'll be excited when a movie trailer for something comes out, but they're probably the only ones. They're these hardcore fans, these hardcore followers of things. It's oh right, that's out. Yeah, we better check that out. Go see it. Da, 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 da.
Yeah,
and that's the audience you play to, when you're doing these things. I mean, it's not that different, I suppose, from when websites and stuff get all excited about, oh my god, we've got exclusive GTA 5 screenshots. It's like, well, the hardcore are going to hunt those out, aren't they? And it's,
I mean, that was pretty cool because they weren't releasing any other media, so it was kind of weird. But
but Joe Blogs on the street isn't going to care, is he? He's going to go they'll only care like perhaps the month before GTA 5 comes out and like
that's true.
The actual proper advertising starts.
Yeah,
and
when it's all over the tube,
word
and stuff.
gets out. Yeah, it is weird that happened. Well, the only thing that makes me think that maybe that must have happened is that a lot of people from the Xbox division must have left. But at the time of the reveal, what's his face? Douchebag McDouche.
Douchebag McDouche, yeah.
I can't remember his name now, God.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, the guy that said, hey, we've got a product for that. It's called Xbox 360 about offline play.
I can see his face. Goddamn.
Yeah, I can see his face. It's etched into my
goddamn face.
Camera.
Jesus.
Yeah. Is it Don something? Don
Matrick, yeah.
Don Matrick, that's it. That's the one. He's moved to Zynga and no one cares anymore.
Yeah, no one cares.
He's forgotten. Yeah. That, how, he's been in this business for a long time. How he thought this is a good idea.
Yeah, I guess it was, they're quite removed up there in their kind of crazy high up Microsoft hierarchy. They're probably trying to synergize or some shit, or like take over
obviously.
the living room for Microsoft rather than.
That's been Microsoft's plan all along, hasn't it? It's like to get PCs in the living room, but
yeah, like a Trojan horse thing. But the 360 was more of a gamer machine in a way, and that was hugely successful. So,
I
don't know.
It's just total and utter misunderstanding of the demographic and how you deal with that. I mean, maybe they were thinking, like, if we go out there initially saying this is going to be a device for everyone, that maybe it won't pick up the idea, that label. Perhaps it won't be labeled as a games console. It will be labeled as an entertainment device, and
for everyone.
Maybe that was their thinking.
Well, it must have been, part of it anyway.
If they go into it saying, "Hey, this is our new games console that we're coming out with. Here are some games," and then do the TV stuff later, like perhaps it wouldn't. Perhaps they felt that perhaps would have scared off, I guess, this total this total market dominance they want. But I get people just don't think like that. Not for a reveal.
So yeah, that was dumb.
Also, it's just the name Xbox. Xbox is synonymous with games console. Like even if you're not in that world, even if you're not into games, even if you've got nothing to do with it, that an Xbox is a games machine. Mm. So you were never going to avoid this problem or that idea.
The name's pretty dumb as well. It's fine, but it's a bit dumb.
Xbox One's okay. I mean, we have occasionally cocked up. I mean, I'm sure everyone has cocked up at some point by saying, "Oh no, that was on the Xbox One." No, I need the original Xbox.
The original Xbox. Yeah, that's annoying. But not too annoying, because not many people are going to be talking about that sort of thing very often.
It's old enough, I suppose. There'll come a point where it's just known as the Xbox again, won't it? So it doesn't really matter.
Presumably, although the 360 was often referred to as the 360 with no Xbox in sight.
Yeah. The X-Bone thing didn't last.
I'd still call it the X-Bone.
Okay.
Clearly is the X-Bone.
We'll keep it alive.
Yeah.
Keep it alive. It's X-Bone time. It's a shame I can't shout X-Bone.
Yeah. That's what you need. If only you could just change that. I would be happy if you could just change the keyword from Xbox to computer or Xbone or something stupid, or Nancy or whatever you wanted to call it.
Nancy.
I don't know. Pick a name for your Xbone and call it that.
You said computer all the time. It would sound like Star Trek, though.
That's what I mean. It's deliberate.
I think Microsoft were trying. And I think they were gunning for using PC as the keyword for Connect on PC at one point, but
PC isn't as good as computer. God damn it! You want it to be like Star Trek or like
Scan for life forms. That's what the little communicator thing does.
No, that's the communicator, not necessarily the computer.
But if he's a... Oh, yeah, it's true. You don't have to press that thing to talk to the computer, do you?
Not when you're inside the ship.
No, you just say computer. In fact, you don't even need to... Like, how does... Like, when Picard wants something from the replicator, he doesn't even say replicator. Or
presumably if you're talking to the you're talking to it. It's like how Connect is supposed to work. It knows when you're talking to it.
Yeah, it's like, Connect tries to do that thing where it's... you have to have had a gap, I guess, between conversations, so it knows to start listening. Like, so if you just said something in the middle of a sentence, it tries not to pick that up.
And I feel like a lot of time with the replicator, he's like practically leaning into it.
Yeah, that's true. He kind of talks to
maybe it's not clear if you're talking to someone else. Like, it's got a proper directional mic to know when your mouth is facing it. Or unless you're reading through the menu or something and you're sat there. I suppose it doesn't matter on a replica.
The entire menu just gets printed out.
I suppose it doesn't matter on a replica what the menu is. You can just ask for anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of
it's got to be in the databanks, right? You can't.
Yeah. But you can't be like looking at this thing on screen or something and saying, "Oh, I really fancy some hot dogs" or something, and it just goes hot dogs, makes them.
What I want to know is what surely the defaults are set the defaults are set sensibly for each recipe, presumably, and then you.
That's why he always has to say hot.
Why does he say hot? Surely hot is the default. You'd want to say cool or something, or you'd think hot would be the default, is what I'm saying. Like if you say tea Earl Grey,
scalding.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I like warm.
Do you think warm would be the default, and then you have to say hot if you want it like steaming hot or something?
Maybe it's a safety thing. Maybe it's like you can't have. So if children activated the replicator, they don't burn themselves.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
But then again, they could just say hot. Maybe it has voice recognition of age.
Yeah, it can tell.
Why are we talking about this? Let's move on.
It'll give you Earl Grey tea if you're a child, but it won't give you hot Earl Grey tea because you might burn yourself.
Exactly.
You only have access to iced tea in the Horde mode.
Horde mode. Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, now that mystery is solved. Okay, let's return to...
So, what's our most baffling decision?
Dumbest thing was the Xbox reveal,
Xbox One reveal, yeah. For sure.
Okay.
Done deal. Next category, maybe a quicker one. The most worrying trend of 2013.
Okay.
And my top entry for this is transaction elements in pay-for games. I mean... I don't think it's going away anytime soon, but just the volume of them in Microsoft's launch lineup is pretty ridiculous.
And they basically had Monocle Gate again, because like the cars in Forza that cost nearly 70 quid.
Yeah. There's a lot of dumb stuff in Microsoft's lineup regarding transactions. I mean, Crimson Dragon is the obvious one, but it's in Forza, and it's bad. It's in Rise, which I think is the weirdest implementation of it.
Yeah.
It's like, why does that game need that stuff? How is that remotely relevant? I don't know how it's in Dead Rising, but I would assume it's there somewhere. Probably for like content or like costumes or something like that. It is just bonkers. I mean, FIFA I can kind of let pass because Ultimate Team is kind of based on the collectible card game thing, so it's probably makes sense there.
Yeah.
But for every other Xbox game, seems a little nuts. I don't think COD does it, actually. I think COD just sticks to their normal plan.
Yeah. But what could they even do for COD, really?
Yeah. Because they don't go down like the customize your... Well, they sort of have some bloke customization this time.
Do now. Yeah.
But I think they realise no one's going to buy... would people buy? I don't know. The COD crowd are probably crazy enough, perhaps, to buy into customization.
You look how much shit there is in Battlefield.
But yeah, I wonder how much EA makes out of that.
If you ever go and look at the actual number of different camos there are for literally every item, there's fucking millions, and it's all per weapon or per vehicle.
Oh yeah. It's not per vehicle, is it? Because I've got flat snow and I can assign that to pretty much every vehicle.
Yeah, but that's probably just a default.
Maybe. It's an unlock. I got it from a battle pack. But...
Right. Well, maybe the battle pack unlocks across all of them or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's not actually per anything.
I don't know.
But it is a pretty ridiculous list, regardless.
Just the whole thing of just how many games it's turning up in now is kind of worrying. I dislike immensely.
Even Nintendo has managed to start doing DLC. Just about.
Has it?
Well, there was DLC levels for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon if you wanted.
Yeah, I suppose that is Ninty directly, isn't it, still? I always think of Pokemon as sort of detached from Ninty.
Well, I guess they kind of are. They do whatever the fuck they want.
The Pokemon company, or whatever it is. It's still
Game
Nintendo
Freak.
making the games, isn't it? Game Freak, yeah.
But Ninty publishing them, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah, and in extension to that, just the idea of day one DLC still pisses me off. I just don't like it.
Well, I guess that trend has continued, certainly.
Yeah. So we were right to be worried about it before. It's still here. But I guess it's no longer a trend anymore, it just is.
Yeah, it's just standard now. Which is pain.
And to be honest, that's pretty much all I got. Because that thing pissed me off so much. I suppose the other worrying trend is games that launch broken.
Well,
There's been a lot of them this year.
I don't know if that's necessarily a worrying trend. I was going to say too many games coming out in alpha states is more of a worrying trend. It's like,
What, the early access
finish some
thing.
goddamn games for a change.
Yeah. That is weird. And like, especially
I think
because they're
Kickstarter
like,
is better than early access, really.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree more with
But it's just
Kickstarter
that
stuff than...
because early access is built into Steam, it's much easier.
Well, it is weird because I think if Steam did a slightly better job of marking stuff as early access, I mean, I know you go to the store page and that's pretty much the first thing you see under the trailer box. Is this big thing saying this is early access.
And then the devs write some bullshit in there.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of dumb.
So sometimes that's pretty funny. Yeah. I don't know. I think doing both may be a problem, but I'm not sure. It's a real contentious problem with me because I know that early access in Steam is kind of a good way of getting seen and to get your game funding, but for a very fixed amount, which isn't necessarily the same. Which isn't the same as doing a Kickstarter because you're sort of buying the game before you have any knowledge of it. Whereas a Kickstarter, you could just put a couple of quid in. You probably wouldn't get anything out of it, but you'd still be funding the game, maybe.
Yeah.
But then who's going to do that? You want to fund it enough to get something out of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's been a lot of them, and maybe there will come a tipping point where people just don't care anymore. I mean, maybe it's already getting too much if we're talking about it.
yeah, possibly.
I mean, Kickstarter did blow up last year, really,
Yeah.
in a big way. And early access is just... Is Kickstarter done and early access is the new thing? Or...
Maybe. Although it was really weird when Starvale did their thing because they basically did their own, not actually a Kickstarter on their own website where it still had like tiers and shit, but it wasn't actually a Kickstarter. So I guess they got to keep all the money. I suppose was the advantage of that.
Yeah.
but then it came out on early access on Steam as a beta. It's like that's like double weird. Do both of those things.
Well, presumably the people that put in enough money doing the Kickstarter have already got a key to...
Of course. Because that was how they were actually going to release it. And they supposedly...
I think it's probably fine if you're upfront about it. If you say in your Kickstarter, well, this is what we're going to do, then we're going to do a round of... Then from this moment onwards, it's going to sit in Steam.
Yeah.
Then that's probably fine.
And then there's other weird cases of weird shit happening on early access, like Planetary Annihilation, where it's like, because they'd done a Kickstarter where the tiers were super expensive for the early access, they had to release a super expensive early access on Steam, and then it's going down over time.
That's... maybe there's some logic to that.
Well, it's logical, but it's still completely weird from
Yeah.
a, like, price point of view when you see something that's like 60 quid. You're
I mean-
like, what the fuck?
It's not necessarily... they run the risk of losing the zeitgeist before the game comes out.
Well, that's the whole... everyone does. Every early access game runs that risk.
Yeah, I mean, I think perhaps you get away. It's not so bad on Kickstarter because I guess you know what you're getting into.
Well, ideally in Kickstarter, most of that is why that Planetary Annihilation price is like that, because I think it's better on Kickstarter if you make it so it costs more to get into the earlier stages.
Yeah, if you're that invested in it.
You don't want random consumers to buy into something that's broken, because then that will put them off.
But then, do you want to limit the amount of money you could potentially make by having the fixed timescales of Kickstarter? As you see, I think it's problematic all round in terms of perception.
Yeah.
But maybe isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it sort of feels like one. It's weird. It is weird. I'm not a fan, if I'm honest. I just don't. I would rather see a game built to the designer's idea.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, needing to get funding from publishers can squander that idea. So it's hard to know where to sit on this. I don't know if it's necessarily what it could be worrying. Let's put it that way. If it gets abused,
Potentially worrying trend of the year.
yeah. But I don't think at the moment it's necessarily worrying.
Why haven't they done this is probably a really bad idea, and I hope that they don't, but it seems like a totally logical thing that Steam could do. They should just make an early access thing that is just pay for time. So as long as you're still enjoying it and playing it, you're still paying.
Yeah, no one's really... That idea has been tossed around for a while, not just for early access, but for multiplayer games. To go cheap subscription.
Well, yeah, but that's a different situation where it's they the idea that MMOs could reduce their limits to not have monthly, maybe weekly or something.
Well, yeah, not even,
cut it down gradually.
Not even things like MMOs. If Call of Duty becomes
that
problematic, you pay per day that you're online or something. Or
yeah,
is the idea that's been floated around a while, but
no
one has really jumped on that.
That's
yet.
not really the same thing.
No, well, is it? Isn't it? It's just a different timescale. It's no,
but it's the idea.
But then you don't necessarily have to pay for the game up front. You've just got this.
Well, yeah, the early access is it makes it so that you can just look in at how it's going at that time, and then you won't have to make a commitment. And then if you don't think the devs are going to finish it, you're not boned or or whatever.
Yeah, perhaps.
But yeah, that would be.
But I don't know then what the incentive is.
For what? For who? For people or the devs?
Yeah, for either.
For the people, the incentive is that you can look at things really quickly and you don't have to spend very much.
But I don't know. A bit of me. To me, that doesn't appeal.
Well, you'd have to. I mean, there's other things that you'd have to do to actually make that system work. There'd probably have to be some kind of automatic limit or something. It would be like a demo, basically. It's after you get to 20 hours, it'd be you should just buy this now. Just pay another 10 quid.
Well, I guess the ideal is you have a subscription model that says once you go over a certain threshold, it's like you've paid for the game outright.
Well, yeah,
you're just in at that point.
That could work in theory, but that would be too easily sort of. That wouldn't actually work because people would just leave it running, and then the same thing would happen. It's not I think it would have to be it would be like a demo where it would be after a certain limit of time, it just stops, and then you just pay a little bit more to add it up to the total. It would have to be the amount of time you'd spend would be less than how much you'd pay for the total game. There'd still have to be one step more to actually going to the full version or something. I don't know. And obviously that whole system would have to be configured per game depending on how much time you spend in each game.
Well, yeah, unless you start tying them to some kind of progression marker in the game,
assuming that the game has a progression marker.
Well, it has a way of tracking generic actions.
Yeah, maybe.
Is walking, is the next or start of walking is the next jump is an action,
Pay per jump.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't climb up any hills. If you stay on the flatland, you can play forever.
Or, it starts a timer when you think you're active, and if you're sat there idling.
Well, that's
and
easy
then
to fake as well, isn't
it? Yeah. It's an awkward one. I don't think any model's good for that, but...
Okay.
But then you have to still... And no, that doesn't make sense, because if you're idling, you're still paying the money to idle. Even if it's just time based, and you're wasting no one's time and money but your own.
Yeah, but it might as well. At that point, it's like you might as well just buy it. It's like the whole idea that if it didn't cost exactly the same as just buying it, is what I'm saying. If you just
Oh yeah, I mean it should.
Yeah,
it definitely should. That's the way you solve that. Yeah.
But I was saying it should cut the amount of time that you can do that for short of that full cost of the game, and then you pay to bump it up in a separate transaction, rather than just leaving it running or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, difficult one. Anyway.
But there should be more ways to. It's like they could theoretically make quite a few different ways for that to work, but then that might lead to even more problems of confusion. Because I mean, I'm sure Steam could build all kinds of shit. Because they can totally just turn on and off the access to a game whenever they want.
Yeah,
that basically already exists.
I'm not sure anyone really wants to take the risk on coming up with a crazy ass model, because the ones that sort of exist seem to be working for some people.
Yeah, but they're annoying. That early access thing is going to be a problem soon.
All right, so maybe that is weird. What do you reckon, Dan, out of that lot?
Well, I was going to say I don't like this. Not that I have experienced it yet, but I don't like that. I've been hearing that console games on the Xbox One and the PS4 are effectively like PC games, and that you have to wait to install them, and you have to worry that you have enough hard disk space, and it's basically all that benefit of consoles where you just put it in and play it is all gone now. And on the Xbox One, you don't even know how much hard disk space you got left, because it's like, oh, I'll magically take care of that for you, except I've only got a fixed amount.
Yeah, I don't know if that counts as a trend. That's just a worrying thing about the one. I don't know if it's going to become a problem. Because I can't fill that space.
I don't think it counts as a worrying trend, really, because it's like inevitable, isn't it? Because there's
Why?
Unless we went back to like 500 gigabyte carts, there's no way to solve this problem, because it's just all about disk speeds, and that's the only problem they're trying to solve, is that you can't stream stuff off a disk fast enough.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, I think the good news is that both Xbox One and PS4 have working ways of mitigating the problem. I mean, yeah, okay, the only one I've really tried is Forza 5, where it let me play after 25% of the game had installed.
Right.
And then from that moment on, it was seamless.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to fix it, by doing that.
And some PS4 stuff, Kippers has been telling me, is practically instant. As in, you put the game in, and you can do something within, like, seconds.
Like play Gallagher.
Probably.
Naturally.
Perfect.
But I think he said Killzone was pretty much had something happening really fast.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's not so bad.
I think it's okay. I think it's fine. I think we're all so used, at least us anyway, on PC Gamer Land are so used to it. But I think the problem is that actually that as much as they want people to move towards digital distribution, actually that pop in and play scenario still only really works if you buy discs. Even with the slight delay for an install to occur, the disc is the fastest way to do it right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Internet just isn't there.
Still.
It probably won't be for a real long time.
No. Especially not if they keep charging for bandwidth and crap like that.
Yeah, people with caps like me. And
yeah.
Your cap is almost irrelevant.
My cap is 250 gig.
Yeah, that's fucking dumb.
My brother's in Canada and his cap is insanely tight for no reason. Apparently that's what they do in North America.
American
Canada,
American broadband and phone contracts are really nuts. They cost a lot, and the restrictions are mental.
Yeah.
So we're pretty lucky here.
Okay, so where are we?
What's the worst out of that lot? So microtransaction elements in pay-for games, games that launch broken. I guess SimCity and Battlefield and
that's
Ashes.
That hasn't happened that much before, so yeah. Hopefully
EA had at least 2 on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is pretty shocking. I mean, that seems like if that continues, that is a very worrying trend.
Yeah.
Probably the most worrying.
It's not like Battlefield 3 wasn't pretty broken.
Battlefield 3 was pretty broken. But that's the thing, they just didn't learn from it.
I think that's why it's not so much of a trend any longer. That's just how it is at EA.
So, how did they break it in different ways again? It's like, some of them are the same ways. Yeah. Weird. It is weird. That's the problem. Like the EA have made it a trend, almost single-handedly. I don't know. It's perhaps it's the arrogance of like we'll just fix it later.
Yeah, exactly.
Is the worrying bit.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
And yeah, obviously, finally, the big discussion on early access stuff.
Yeah, I think the early access stuff is just a model thing that'll probably it'll probably even itself out once people figure out, hey, it's not worth paying for something that's not even there, like Goddess or whatever.
Yeah, I think there'll be like a tipping point, won't there? And it will just be like people will just get either sick of it or someone will fuck up so bad that no one wants to do it anymore.
And like you say, Steam can change the model or have different models at any time, I guess. So.
Yeah, what you really want is some big disasters. Well, I don't think anyone wants that actually, but as soon as we get, it will happen eventually. Surely that there will be some games that have got a quite large early access following, but the studio runs out of cash or whatever and just can't carry on.
That'll learn them.
But then, does that impact the game design? Is the worst bit perhaps that if they have to put something out that's mostly playable and mostly complete. Like to get some kind of end-to-end game out of it, and then they just keep adding stuff, sort of on the side, I guess.
Right.
Maybe.
You can't.
Does that impact the actual designs of the games? Which would suck.
It would, but I don't think we've seen that as a trend yet.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to know if that was ever the. I guess the dev. It's hard to know sometimes whether that was actually the plan for the devs.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you feeling then? Because I'm kind of feeling the broken games. It's being worrying.
I think microtransactions are worse.
Yeah, I think microtransactions have the biggest potential. At least with the launch breaking, things are getting fixed. But there's been multiple times this year where microtransactions have negatively impacted a game.
That's true, but yeah,
Dead Space 3 was kind of started that ball rolling.
Yeah,
but I mean, this has been going on for a while, and none of those games have been like hugely successful. Like the only one that makes loads of money is the one that has the least impact on the game, which is Dota 2 or whatever.
Yeah, but
it's like it's not making them. Well,
that's a free-to-play game. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about microtransactions in
paid-for games. What do you think
they're
making loads of? I don't know. It seems like
I don't know if they're making money out of it, but
yeah,
it's just growing. As I say, Microsoft's launch lineup is filled with them. EA games are filled with them naturally.
Okay.
Monocle Gate.
And Monocle Gate, yeah.
Is that this year?
No, that was last year.
It was probably 2 years ago now.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like it was in last year's Game of the Year thing.
I think Monocle Gate was a while back. But...
Okay, cool.
I'm with that one personally.
Fair enough. Well, that seems like a common. It seems like it's been a worrying trend for a while, so it's certainly sure to win something. So cool.
Microtransaction elements in pay-for games. Worrying trend of the year. Stop it.
Next.
Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. Fuck off with your transaction. Stop it. All right. If we see that shit in Titanfall, I will be angry.
God.
Fairly inevitable.
Flat out worst game of the year, SimCity.
I don't think so.
SimCity.
No.
Not actually that bad.
That we played. Come on.
Okay, yeah, that we played.
Because we can't rate a terrible game that we haven't touched.
Like Aliens Colonial Marines?
Colonial Marines. Really, that's hilarious.
Well, okay. Actually, I have seen quite a lot of that. It does look terrible, but I haven't played it because it looks terrible.
Exactly. Really bad. Hilariously bad, in fact, with the aliens rotating and doing great. Although Ash's Cricket, that was hilarious.
God,
that was the worst.
I think, as Zach and I were saying, we can't quite believe that Ashes came out in 2013 worse than a game I think we played 10 years ago, which was an EA cricket game.
Yeah.
Right.
And okay, sure, the animations are kind of fucked up on that, and people could catch balls without looking at them. But it's a much better game.
Yeah. No, that game was shocking.
I guess cricket doesn't sell well amongst video gamers.
Well, no. That's why they didn't have any money to make that, apparently.
Yeah.
By the looks of it.
It's quite funny, though. But we've been quite lucky, I think, this year. And I don't think any of us have really played a bad game.
Not really. I mean, SimCity was broken. I mean, broken games are not necessarily different. I don't know. Bad
Well,
and
it wasn't
broken.
just broken, it was kind of bad.
The design doesn't work in
Yeah.
SimCity, which is bad. That is just a sign of badness.
Fair enough, yeah.
Milk chocolate badness.
Well, I think I enjoyed the stuff I played. I don't think any of it was bad.
You've played SimCity?
No.
You wasn't talking about
games I played.
Just in general, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a tough. Yeah, it's a toughie. But out of stuff we played, SimCity, surely.
I'm guessing so.
Unless you played some indie crap. Is that one that was crap?
Zeg.
Don't say awesome nods.
Yeah, I did play that. And that also wasn't this year, as we discussed earlier.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This is a shit category for us because we don't play enough. So
Oh, yeah,
We don't play enough bad games, yeah.
Tomb Raider's story.
yeah.
This story. Worst story of the...
But we could just say worst thing in a game we've played this year.
Okay.
What's
fair
just the worst bit of a game we've played this year? SimCity.
Okay.
All of SimCity.
There must have been bits in Bioshock that were a bit annoying.
Well, yeah, the combat I didn't gel
Some
with
of them.
me.
Yeah, but I can't put that as worst thing because it was fine.
No, I mean it was
Good,
okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's not bad. It's just. I mean, I guess the whole. I didn't get on with the whole prison level of Bioshock. I thought that was kind of annoying. It was just really annoying. Not a lot
Yeah.
else.
Actually, I think combat in Bioshock and GTA are quite similar in that they're both quite a lot better than in the previous version, but still not good enough.
Not top tier.
Yeah, still not good enough. Yeah. They're actually quite a lot improved. Like, I think Bioshock Infinite versus Bioshock Combat. Definitely. But it's just still not quite good enough. And the same with GTA 5. It's like, this is quite a lot better than in 4, but damn it, it's still not... It's not as good as Max Payne. I don't know. Damn it. Anyway.
All of Tomb Raider's story, as Zach said, is probably worse. It's a pretty bad thing.
That poor lady that was on that Charlie Brooker program who wrote the
sorry.
Tomb Raider thing.
You played Dust 514, that was pretty bad when you played it. It supposedly got better.
Was that this year?
Yeah.
That was really this year?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that wasn't great. Actually.
But yeah, when we played it using
It was
my Eve
pretty,
account, it was literally a beta.
It was still beta, yeah.
And
There
then
was a
apparently
dragon?
they changed
Got that?
everything.
Oh, in
We
Dust.
did play it.
I didn't actually get Crimson Dragon, but
No.
Dust 514 was. It wasn't great when we played it, but that was in beta. The fact that you can't, in Animal Crossing, everything is still very Nintendo text style. That everyone always has to say everything. There's no way it just sort of say, yeah, I know.
Yeah, but otherwise, what else would that game have? You have to talk to people. That's the whole point of the game.
I know, but I don't want repetition of text. Where
Well, then you're going to need a lot of fucking text.
I don't know. Either that, or just say, I've got nothing to say. Just get over and done with. Or you walk into a shop, I don't want them to tell me about the shop.
Shop ones are the worst.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. That's precisely the shit I'm talking about. Even so, even now, I still don't have a lot.
Well, that's that then. End of this dumb category.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Okay.
Fuck it. All that stuff is bad. No winner.
Okay.
Best music of the year.
Ooh.
And I am specifically calling out original soundtracks, not licensed.
Okay.
Right.
because this might just go to GTA otherwise. Because
apparently,
for most music,
according to certain websites, people really fucking love the start of Battlefield 4. Like, why? That's not even a good use of that song.
No,
it's a completely dumb and random use of that song that has no influence on anything else that you do.
Total eclipse.
That whole start sequence was just completely. It's like. We'll just show you the dramatic bit and then jump back 15 minutes and then you just play up to that bit and then it just cuts from there and goes to a completely different thing.
Totally done. Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
It's weird.
But the whole Battlefield... Actually, no, that's another thing for the worst thing of the year is the Battlefield 4 campaign.
I don't know if it was all that bad.
It's not
good. The start of it was pretty bad.
I can't call it good.
No.
And that makes it bad. So my nominations for this are Rogue Legacy.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty cool. Some of the chiptune stuff as well from the jukebox.
The Maya has the best music.
Yeah, the Maya's cool. Yeah. Maya's cool. And Devil May Cry is my other pick.
Quite like the Bioshock Infinite soundtrack too. That was right.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, what does the barbershop stuff count?
Well, not really.
As original or licensed?
That's nearly licensed.
Yeah.
It's close to being
remixes, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's quite significantly, altered in tone and stuff, but yeah. But that's not what I'm necessarily talking about. I mean, that stuff was cool and awesome as like a moment or whatever when you got them. But I mean, that wasn't the majority of the soundtrack. I just thought the actual orchestral... I didn't get bored of the crazy combat da-dum, 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 da-dum stuff. I thought I would, but it was actually quite good.
Yeah, that stuff was okay. I'm not sure on the whole it's a great soundtrack. It's not that memorable. I think partly because of its style, maybe.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have like a main theme thing too much. I mean, the best thing was the crazy the Will the Circle Be Unbroken, that hymn that they used like at the start where they're all humming it and stuff in like when you first go in and then it's at the end and stuff. It's the use of that was really, really cool. The that one, and there's also the Songbird song, I guess, and all that stuff. That was all kind of integrated.
Well, I don't actually remember what the Songbird song was. I just remember the lows were some sort of mash of random notes, really distorted fashion. Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah, anyway. So
DMC I've put on here because, fucking Noisia, man. It's awesome. And it was all... The Noisia side, at least, of that soundtrack was all written for the game. And it's very, very good. Like the club level and most of the boss fights and the sort of dubsteppy but sort of very grimy at the same time. And... the other half is technically not written for the game because it's Combi Christ, but it's just taken from their normal songs pretty much. But they've just been mixed in such a way that it fits in the game really well. So I can't count that side really. But for the Noisia stuff alone, or Nausea, I call it Noisia.
Noisia,
yeah, that stuff's really good. It's stuff I can listen to on its own. Even outside the game.
Cool. Well, that sounds like a strong contender, to be honest.
That's pretty much all I got, really. But
what about you, Zach?
On the Bioshock one should have a mention.
I think so.
It was good.
Well, I liked the Bit Trip Runner 2 stuff, even though that's not much of music.
Well, I found it's quite cool, but at the same time, it wasn't that different, really, from what they did for the original Bit Trip.
It
has the same chord progression all the time. Like, the levels aren't different enough.
Yeah, well, that would have to make it a different game.
Well, they could. I think they could have perhaps kept the gameplay style, but perhaps had a different song. You know what I mean? Because Bit Trip's always the same song done in different styles.
No, it's not.
It kind of is.
It's not. They're totally different songs. Like the stupid tropical one for the tropical level, and the industrial ones for the industrial levels. Totally different themes.
Whenever I think of it, I always just have that same progression in my head.
Well, I mean, it has the same progression because it's attached to the progressing the Super Mega Ultra thing because that's the actual progression.
No, but I mean, just the note patterns that it takes I don't know. Doesn't strike me as varied in there.
And then there's Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, which I really liked.
Yeah, actually, I remember you played me some of that stuff, and it was, or at least I, heard it when you were playing it. Some of that was, it was pretty good actually. Yeah.
You weren't even hearing good tracks.
No.
Naturally, because the dumb thing about it is you can unlock a thing that lets you play the music, except you don't unlock all the music at once. And I never unlocked all of the music, so I never got any of the good tracks in that thing. And I was like, oh. I want to have my hometown theme music be one of the good tracks, but I can't because I don't have any of the good tracks yet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What about the any of the was it cave rule? No, the dog stuff from Animal Crossing.
Oh, no, I don't care about I don't care about his shit. And then it's not that amazing. I don't know why everyone loves it so much.
Fair enough.
That's that.
That's that.
And for some reason, on my game list, I have Hotline Miami, even though I didn't play it.
Oh, that was
not this
freaking
year
great.
either.
That's not this year. I would vote for
Yeah,
that.
I don't know why that's in this list.
And again, that's a difficult one to judge because half of it isn't. It's weird because half of it wasn't written for the game.
Yeah.
Right. That's freaking awesome, though. It was quite
It is an
repetitive
awesome
as well,
soundtrack.
but it was brilliant.
Oh, but that's kind of to its benefit.
Yeah.
I think somehow that works.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah,
Um,
not this year, sadly. Otherwise, that would be quite easy for me, I guess.
So I think my personal pick is going to be DMC, but
Yep.
I think team pick probably has to be Rogue Legacy.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I... Well, you guys want...
You've only heard one of the tracks.
Yeah, you probably haven't got to the good stuff in
I guess
the
not.
super awesome stuff in Rogue Legacy.
Well, I mean, I like the castle track.
The castle's
that's
fine,
one of my second
yeah.
favourites.
The castle music is so fitting.
Yeah.
But I like when you go to the jukebox and there's the Pistol Shrimp song.
What you mean? One of the that's all. Those are just the songs that play in the game.
I know, but I don't know where. I haven't heard it where it's normally used yet.
Well, it's probably one of the bosses.
Probably,
I imagine.
But yeah, I like that music. Some of the stuff you can pick, some of the chippy stuff that you can pick is pretty cool. I just like the audio design in that game in general. It's like the chunkiness of your guy is kind of cool.
Well, lovely. So if you're a huge dude,
Yeah, yeah.
it's ridiculous. I think they turned that up since the when they patched it.
It is cool. And if you're a spell sword and with your
Yeah, that weird sort of sound.
yeah. Yeah. It's a cool game for your ears.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, then. Rogue Legacy?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a
Best
worthy winner.
music.
Best music of the year, and probably best audio in general. Maybe.
There's not much else to the audio, really.
No, I guess not. Rogue Legacy. So next category is the worst audio thing.
Classic.
It's just a great. I like these, but I've only got 2 entries this year, and the first one is kind of dumb because it's kind of personal to me. But when people talk in Battlefield 3, and there's that kind of radio beep before or after they say something, there's like a doo
Right.
noise. It sounds exactly like my telephones in this house going on to charge. So it's like, so I look round going, what's my phone doing? But it's precisely the same, and it's really annoying.
Okay.
And the other thing, Forza 5's music, all of it.
Yeah.
So annoying.
That was pretty bad.
Like they've taken the crown from GT5.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive.
The battle of bad racing game music.
Yep. Yeah,
And that's pretty much all I got. Like Forza 5's music, I thought was pretty goddamn atrocious. But
Why
but
did they even think it
it's
was a
probably
good
okay,
idea?
but it's just not the right place to use it.
No, they used it in the races weirdly, and it was like super dramatic and weird.
Yeah. So perhaps for some of like Forza it would have been fine, but I would have much just preferred a licensed soundtrack. Doesn't even have to be an expensive licensed soundtrack like an EA game. It just some obscure stuff would be fine. Just not that. Make some shit up if it's cheaper. I don't care. Just don't give me that.
I think that
Yeah.
seems like an easy winner. And I mean, I can't think of really bad, annoying audio moments. There are probably a few in stuff I played. Weren't too many in GTA 5 had pretty good sound design across it, so I don't think there was any particularly irritating, like, hey, you want to go bowling type situations.
If you want to talk about bringing stuff from the games that haven't actually come out yet category, it's like Kerbal Space Program is like it's literally impossible to deal with, I'm sure, but trying to normalise rocket engines never actually works because they're always just ridiculously loud and fuzzy and overlapping sound effects that just distort all the time.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's just like there's not really anything you can do about that because that's just how the game works.
And they do sort of sound like actual rockets, sort of, because rockets do that.
Yeah.
I suppose this isn't necessarily because it's bad. I'm still sort of disappointed that FIFA 14's commentary isn't. And I feel like that should have advanced more over the years.
Well,
it feels like the one thing in sports games that hasn't advanced since we were playing it in '98. I mean, yeah, they can say the names of like pretty much every player in the game, which is kind of a feat. But it's the stuff that intermingles with like the play-by-play stuff. Isn't that great? I remember like NHL 2003 being more interesting to listen to. And
I think the main problem with...
And admittedly, that was still when they were doing the comedy thing.
Yeah. I think their main problem with the commentary with 14 is that I think somehow they've... Well, I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't have done it quite so much, but it's like there's just an incredibly hard cut between idle, normal commentary and insanely enthusiastic about the score commentary.
Oh, yeah. He's got to score! It cuts to when you're getting anywhere near the goal, the way that it's like, it's got to be! Like it's a sure thing that it's going to happen. Like, every time, pretty much.
And there's never any build-up to it. It's always just like, he cuts out of whatever normal conversation. He's like, oh, he's made a pass. Oh, shit!
He's got to score! Like, yeah, that kind of stuff is kind of annoying. Or like, oh, this attack looks like it's got a bit of menace to it. It says that all the time. There's a lot of repetition, and it's in this day and age. I don't know. That feels like it shouldn't be. What else are they using the disc content for? Or download content in this case? Where the fuck is the rest of this 36 gig? So it's more disappointing than bad, I suppose.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm not sure I've got a lot else, really.
No.
Okay.
Not a bad year for sound design.
Apparently, people had their shit together, not annoying us too much.
I'm sure there was some game I played. Oh, that might have been Catherine, actually, because I was always in two minds about whether or not the constant saying of Edge was annoying or not.
Naturally.
Sometimes I kind of like it, and other times it's just like, shut the fuck up! Edge.
Well, I'm kind of thinking Forza. I don't know. That music's annoying.
That was definitely the worst audio thing, for just being like, why did you do that?
Yeah. I don't really like I think Battlefield 4... Like, I know what they're going for with some of their sound design, but like to be consistent. But I'd still wish that like announcer stuff wasn't said over the radio. Like, you know, we've lost this position. I'd just much rather prefer if I could just turn it to like Unreal style. You've lost point C. Something clear, because sometimes that stuff just gets muffled to me, and I can't make it out. Or
it's the point, though.
I don't know. I just wish some of the messaging was a bit clearer. Battlefield, but yeah, as you say, maybe that's the point, but it doesn't mean I have to like it.
Well, they could have fixed that by just like the UI more than the sound, even in some cases, particularly for when in Rush, when a bomb's been planted and the icon for the point just flashes really slowly. That kind of it's like that's the most important thing. That should be like brightly flashing red or something.
Yeah, it should be something really obvious on the map, maybe, or. At least you can hear the whoop, whoop.
Well, if you're close enough, yeah.
Which is alright, yeah. I don't know, a lot of Battlefield sound is the same as last time, which is, again, more maybe disappointing. But then what else could they do? It's already the sound in that game is already pretty great in general. It might be, like, best audio thing, just all of Battlefield's design, but apart from that.
Still don't think it was because it's free somehow, but I still haven't really heard it enough to direct. I keep thinking I should just go straight back to Battlefield 3 directly from 4 and see if I can actually determine why I like 4 less. Because I do. I just don't like playing it as much.
What is it, maps or
maybe?
I mean, some of the maps are a lot more open this time, but
yeah, I'm not sure that's necessarily a problem.
I just want to play Metro all the time.
No, I really don't want to play Metro all the time.
I like Metro.
Or at least not Conquest Metro.
Yeah, maybe not. So Forza 5 Music, winner of Worst Audio Thing.
Indeed.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Best moment in a game, 2013. I got 2 nominations for this. Bioshock Infinite's ending kind of blew me away.
That was pretty good.
And the intro sequence for The Last of Us is awesome.
Okay.
And would be my pick. I don't know. Well, what do you want me to say? I mean, should we go into spoiler? I suppose we should go into spoiler territory for this kind of conversation, but it depends on what.
If it's the start of the game, it's not so bad.
Yeah,
that's not so bad. Yeah,
it's the first 20 minutes or so.
That's fine.
So it's but yeah, the intro sequence in Last of Us is genius because it basically puts you in the shoes of your dad as Joel, I guess, like this kid's dad at the time, as the shit goes down, and as the military it basically all culminates in the military getting an order not to let anyone leave the town lest they be shot. So this guy opens fires on you, and your daughter gets killed, and it's just. The way it's presented is just the worst.
Right.
Like, I mean, for like gut-wrenching style. Yeah. It's really hits home in a big way.
Right. That sounds very dramatic, yeah.
There aren't many games, I think, that have done that kind of moment as well as The Last of Us does.
Okay.
And there are some other pretty cool moments in that game, but it never reaches that height again. That intro it's just phenomenally done. But at the same time, man, Bioshock's ending, just man.
That was, yeah, it was a good payoff for getting through that game, really, because it was like, here's all the crazy crap.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of great... I suppose I should mention a lot of other DMs. There's a lot of moments in DMC that are cool as well. But I don't think they top those 2. Like the Raptor News boss is pretty cool. The whole club level is cool, but it's not really a moment, I suppose. I mean, it does the drama of the boss fights really well. DMC, or any time the level does something unexpected is cool. Like you're running down a corridor, and then the demons make the corridor longer as you're jumping through it, and it's like, oh god, what? You bastards. But it's a lot of little moments rather than sort of one necessarily large, massively audacious moment, I suppose.
That's the thing. A lot of little... Like, I'm trying to think of a standout moment. There must be loads from GTA, but none as big as that, I don't think, as Bioshock or that Last of Us intro, I don't think. I mean, there are loads of good ones, but yeah, no big standout moment of the year type stuff. I don't know.
My favourite moment of the year is the end of Rogue Legacy.
Oh, but we haven't seen that yet,
well,
and I don't want it spoiled.
Well, it's not. I don't know if it's that much of a spoiler, really. I don't know. But it's
what can happen. Really?
Well, it's not so much like the story of it, but it's like. When you kill the last boss, it does like in the death portrait, like when your guys die.
Oh right. I see.
And it's super awesome.
That is cool.
But it does tie into the story, so I don't want to spoil it too much. But yeah, that's just a funny moment where it's like lols, and he had literally the last thing he said in a text box appears as his last words in that scene as well.
Oh, awesome!
Which is doubly funny.
That's a nice bit of detail. That is cool.
Well, like his last words were whatever he
last said, yeah.
Okay.
rather than the random last words you get from all the people.
Yeah, the tips.
Yep.
The tip words.
Or just the one that says, bury me with my money. It's like, well, that's not going to happen.
No, I'm having it. It's a tough one, this, because I know, like, Dan's only really... The only moment we have in common is the Bioshock one, I suppose.
That's true, but I'm kind of feeling that, you know, the way you're describing the Last of Us intro sounds pretty... Yeah, it sounds like
it's pretty amazing.
It's
just filled with really neat touches. I mean, you're in the... It starts essentially with you, like, wandering you wake up in the middle of the night and you're wandering through the house trying to find Joel, and you find him sort of downstairs in a bit of a panic. Like, you know, just that moment where you sort of do, it feels like there's going to be a tense jump scare and you're wondering about the house and something, but there isn't. It's just like you just find him and like you get the sense of shit going down from him, not from and you know, I think you go to the answer phone at one point and listen to some messages and stuff, and it's like you get the idea of what's going on from all that, not necessarily actually things happening, which is kind of cool. I think there's a bit where you're looking out the window and you see an explosion in the distance as you do. It's like, it's just massively well crafted. And then you have to go through this whole, like, you know, the panic in the street stuff starts to happen with the runners about, and then you're like, oh god, get out of the way. And then you get into a car. Like, there's a bit in a car where you're running away. You have very little control during most of this, but it's just so well done. So well done.
Okay. Yeah. That's sounding tempting. Man. There's so much going on at the end of Bioshock as well. There's the rapture bit, and there's the spoilers. Not that there's a big bit or anything. And there's all the crazy reveals of there's various different sort of things that get revealed at once, really. It takes like 20 minutes or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a big old sequence.
Yeah.
There's always a girl.
Yeah, and there's always a lighthouse, there's always a man. Yeah. That stuff. And then there's who you are and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole bunch of stuff at once.
A lot of it I didn't figure out as well.
The first time, no. I don't know if it completely... It wows you, but I don't know if it completely communicates what actually...
No, it's perhaps a little rapid.
Yeah.
But
even though it's long, there's just so much to say, yeah.
And a lot of it was that the game is paced in such a way. I think perhaps like that is one of Bioshock's biggest flaws, I suppose, is that you know, as much as I got wrapped up in that world, it doesn't necessarily explain itself enough as you're going through. It's like it's all in that dump at the end, and you're just like, wait, what? What happened? How did all this stuff come about? And it's as soon as you start tear jumping, things just get real confusing, and it's there becomes very little actual plot, I suppose.
Yeah,
from that point onwards until the ending wraps it all up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a shame, like earlier in the story, that they had those. You walk through those tears, and then it's like a different world from the one you left.
But and therefore, the coherence of that world is then sort of shattered a little.
Yeah, and
I know that's kind of the point, but it's like from a narrative perspective, you kind of lose where you are a touch.
Yeah, because they never kind of loop it back and say, "Oh, this was the world you left," or whatever.
Yeah, like so you jump into the river, the bit with the revolution happening, and somehow you're the instigator of it all, and you're like, "Wait, what? What?
Wait,
how did that happen?"
Yeah. So it doesn't really explain that at the end, because it's like there may always be a lighthouse and stuff, but like then there's like multiple versions of the same lighthouse. I don't know, and like. They don't.
Well, there seem to have been like a million different universes around the same story, not just the fact that you know you were Rapture and
Columbia.
whatever the new city's called, Columbia,
and other ones presumably.
Yeah, presumably there's a massive number of variants of those as well that are all occurring and are somehow tied to one event. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do when they wrap up the DLC of this, like if it will tie into any of those themes or if it's just.
Well, let's hope so, because yeah. That would be cool, because going back to Rapture could shed some light on such things, potentially.
I mean, I think if we were going to be talking about best character of the year, I might have been tempted to give it to Elizabeth. She's
I like the GTA characters better than Elizabeth, personally.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So there you go. But yes, as for moments, then yeah, definitely Bioshock. But then, Last of Us does seem tempting there. So I think I have to hand it to you, having done both.
Last of Us wins.
Indeed. There we go. Last of Us, best moment.
The
2013.
Last of Us intro sequence. So yeah. Okay, if anyone hasn't played it, just play the first 20 minutes. You'll see it. They can not play the rest of it.
Yeah.
Not I'm saying the rest of the game is terrible, but it's like you get the best bit of the game right at the start.
Supposedly the next 3 hours after that bit are pretty bad.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. I kind of agree. The initial grind is a bit confusing. A little. It doesn't feel so great at first, but then it sort of settles into itself. As you say, as soon as you get out of Boston. I think it was Boston. Anyway, laziest sequel.
Okay.
I have one entry for this.
How do you only have one?
Well, because I'm not sure there are actually that many sequels that are totally late. Oh, well, no, 2. Okay, I have 2. The obvious one was COD Ghosts,
Yeah.
because it actually does feel like a proper step back this time, or at least they haven't really changed the formula from Modern Warfare 3, like, at all.
Apart from having a even dumber story than ever.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not enough in this one for people to... even the fans are kind of a little bit, about it. So it's... Kippers is with me on the opinion that Blops 2 probably the strongest entry in the series, but he's a big fan of the multiplayer on Blops 1.
But it doesn't have, intelligent fish AI and shit.
Fish bleed out of the way. I have to say, the biggest improvement, that the thing I like the most about COD Ghosts is that it runs at a higher res and that there's more texture detail. It's like it does make a difference, but that's all they've changed, really, of note. So yeah, COD Ghosts, and the other one I thought of was Gears of War again.
Yeah, or God of War.
Was that this year? Was there a God of War?
Yeah, there was. That might also be pretty forgotten. But
I didn't even know about this. Which one was it? Was this a
God of
Vita
War
one?
Ascension? I assume that's Vita. I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, that is Vita. Yes, I remember that.
But that's still still a goddamn lazy sequel because we don't need any more God Wars for Christ's sake.
Or was it? Well, it might have been PS3. I cannot remember,
Yeah.
but I don't care
No.
because God of War. God of War doesn't gel with me.
Laziest sequels, Poker Night 2. Because it's just fucking
man.
poker again.
Yeah,
dear.
that's pretty lazy. But poker at the inventory or whatever.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Different characters and worse characters.
Yeah, worst characters. Definitely worst characters. Except Claptrap, right? That's the only
Sort
one.
of. It's like, how much Claptrap can you stand, really?
No, Claptrap's fine.
What else is in this list with numbers after its name?
Because Assassin's Creed 4 we can't count this year because they actually made a...
Well, it's because it's different.
Yeah.
More or less. Oh, well, any of, New Super Luigi U, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty goddamn lazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the year of Luigi.
New Super Luigi Brothers. Should we have a category for best Luigi game? Best year of Luigi
We
game.
don't need to... That's obviously going to be Luigi's Mansion, though. If we're talking about only Luigi, rather than games that he is also in,
I guess, yeah. And well, I don't know. Is you reckon Luigi's Mansion's better than Mario and Luigi?
No, I think Mario and Luigi's better than Luigi's Mansion, but Mario's in it as well.
Yeah, but did it count as a year of Luigi game?
Probably, but that's only because Nintendo slapped that on everything with Luigi in it.
Dr. Luigi.
What else? I don't expect DuckTales counts because it's just a remake rather than a sequel.
No, I wouldn't say that was lazy. I'm not saying it was good, but it wasn't lazy.
Saints Row 4 was pretty lazy, considering it was just basically the same assets.
It's 50% lazy.
Yeah.
Because they changed... Yeah, they kept the entire town, which I'm sure must be 50% of the effort, but then the other half is wildly different.
Don't know anything about Lost Planet 3, so that may or may not have been lazy.
I don't think that was
Did that
lazy.
come out?
Yeah,
Apparently.
it was quite different, I think.
Oh, no, I do remember that, yeah.
Oh no, wait, I remember, yeah, it had the things like you were a workman rather than...
Yeah.
And it was like a prequel, really.
Yeah, yeah.
some
It was
shit.
because Lost Planet 1 kind of covered the terraforming stuff, and it was sort of. Lost Planet 2 was all jungle.
Yeah.
For some reason.
For some reason, weirdly, on an ice planet. What else? Just Dance 2014.
That is pretty lazy. Those games don't change.
And that's near the end of my list. Anything else? Don't really need to talk about any of the sports games because
Well, that's a given. Yeah.
Pale 2.
Peggle 2. Well, they
Because we
tried.
can't really do much with that.
They did their best.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily lazy, like with the complete art style change and.
Well, complete art style for the stuff that's not actually the game.
I don't know.
Can't really touch the game.
Maybe. I just kind of still want to pick that out.
Well, yeah, because it's just pale.
Yeah, Peggle's awesome.
It's fine. It's a fine game, but not that interesting.
I guess it's strangely like Moorish.
Well, it's like any of the stupid games like that, like Bejeweled or whatever.
Yeah,
There's nothing to it,
still end up.
but it's a time waster.
Yeah. So what are you feeling out of that? Like, I quite like Poker Night. It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the laziest sequel.
That sounds pretty good.
But then,
But it's so tiny.
But it's yeah.
So
but
the heavy.
it's so,
so
tiny. But can we count that because there's less of it to be lazy and they were still lazy? Or is it
But
that,
what could they do is the other question.
yeah, it's poker. Like add more variants of the game, like add all of the different rules.
I don't think that makes it a good game, though.
Because COD Ghosts, does that come into the category of that we've talked about before, and that it is like a very unlazy but incredibly similar game?
Yeah, that is true.
So a lot of work has gone into
And it's
making
actually
it
like
identical.
worse now.
Yeah.
They've actually put effort into making it less good.
But then Just Dance, man, that's a good shout.
Well, yeah, but we don't know anything about that.
No, but
That could have been totally different. We wouldn't actually know.
I really doubt it. What do you reckon, Dan?
Well, quite like Poker Night, but you're right. It might be a bit. It's so lazy. It's not even much content. But I mean,
Yeah, was the initial game lazy, really?
What, like a poker game?
Yeah.
I guess.
fairly,
Is the whole concept lazy?
sort of.
Although I guess you could say that it's quite bad that it's a sequel and not just like DLC or something.
I guess.
Why
When
bring it
it's the
out as a
same,
numbered
yeah.
sequel?
Yeah, why not just add all the new characters to the original?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would actually improve the original and stuff because you could have more mixed stuff.
Yeah. Although that would be a problem presumably because the writing is between specific characters.
Oh, is
Oh
it?
yeah, that's true. They would have had to have.
I never
done
actually
more.
played it, so
No.
didn't know that they did that.
Yeah, that
Never-
seems. What do you think then? That seems all right to me.
Yeah, it probably is. It probably is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the reason of like COD is the unlaziest, like most similar sequel. So Poker Night 2, the laziest sequel of 2013. You might want to rattle through the next few, I guess, and to get to the game of the year. The next ones aren't that important.
Okay.
Like our most swear-inducing games.
There's been that many.
Battlefield 4.
Well, hardly. We've not really played that
I
much.
guess it still winds me up every now and then, like pretty badly. Forza 5 multiplayer because
Yep.
everyone's a dick.
Yeah.
The Last of Us because stealth.
Right.
Stealth and me
Fuck,
do
it
not get
saw
on.
me. God damn it.
Yeah, it's like how the fuck did you know I was there? Kind of stuff. And that's pretty much it out of this year. I'd probably put Awesomenauts on this list as well, but
Any
It's not a game this
multiplayer
year.
is like, yeah.
yeah, pretty much all multiplayer does that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So maybe for single player, Last of Us is quite impressive that it makes you go.
that it makes the list, yeah.
Yeah.
And perhaps by that logic alone, it should win.
Okay.
Most swear
Let's just move on.
standard
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, fair enough.
games we should have played. What was the biggest game in this list that we really should have played? So, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. Mm-hmm. Brothers, the most useless subtitle. COD Ghosts, Dota 2, Saints Row 4, Super Mario 3D World, or either of the Zelda releases.
Well, the DS one probably I should have played because apparently it's fucking awesome according to everyone ever.
Yeah, I know that does sound like the game, perhaps of 2013, and we haven't played it.
I mean, did you play Link to the Past all the way through, Zeg?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay,
Yeah, I think you did. I haven't, but
Rob should have played Ni no Kuni when it was like £6 on PlayStation in that sale. Why did you not buy that?
Tempted. Probably still is right now, to be honest. That's all. It's one of those things where it's like I bought a lot of games at this point, and I'm like, I've got quite the list.
Yeah,
and
that is a hell of a long one.
And there's Final Fantasy 13-2 sat on the shelf over there for another 60 hours of fun. Yeah, Ni no Kuni, you need to set aside at least 60 hours, they reckon. Because it's quite grindy in places.
I'd like to play that.
I would really like to play that, yeah. If just for Welshness.
Just for the Welshness and not for the studio.
Just for the Welshness. Well, how many games have Welsh? Have a Welsh person in them.
Yeah, but it's not like Wales is quite close to us, relatively speaking. That's slightly less of a rare thing.
I suppose, yeah.
We don't never hear Welsh. We occasionally hear Welsh.
We're going on a journey with Tom Jones.
It's tidy.
What category was this again? I lost my train of thought.
Games we should have played.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we should have played Ni no Kuni. I'd quite like to play that.
I really want to play Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah, well, I did play it, so that doesn't really count for me. But I didn't play it for very long. But I'm thinking of getting a Wii U, so...
Yeah. And I suppose...
Pikmin 3 as well.
To keep up my position as a Sonic enthusiast, I really should play Sonic Lost World.
Maybe. It's your requirement.
It's like I require it of myself to play that game.
Well, that'll be when you get a Wii U for the Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that'll happen. Gonna happen.
One of us probably should have played Papers, Please. Really, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I do still want to play that. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah, that seems like a big one.
And for as much as I've seen people playing it on my Steam list, maybe someone should have potentially looked at Payday 2, because people in IRC seem to like it.
Yeah, I know a few people that are really into it. Like, really into it.
And it's Gone Home, of course.
I think we might like Payday.
Well, in theory, if we could get together to do it. In
Sure
the same way as Left 4 Dead and all those other games.
Yeah. Need a team. Dan. Yep.
Not playing Payday, that doesn't look like my sort of thing. Papers, Please, though. Probably.
You can't play that multiplayer.
But what if you could?
Yeah, that's the future, surely.
You'd have to have like some kind of
What? That everyone in the queue is a random multiplayer person, and there's part of the game like there's one guy in the cubicle, not like a million people trying to get through.
No, you'd have to be like it'd have to be like a multi-stage application process where you'd each have like a stab that you have to do and check various things.
I guess, yeah. That could be cool. Someone has to work X-ray machines. It'd be like airport security, like.
And you'd have different motives or whatever, so you'd have a weak link or whatever. Well, depending on whose family is about to starve, and you'd have to have the information.
Objectives.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be really good.
Actually,
well, if you're listening, Papers, Please, man.
Papers, Please, man. What else is on this list? Maybe one of us should have played Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I'll get to that.
I think we will, but I know people say don't, but I do kind of want to play Assassin's Creed 3, just because I'm so in.
Yeah. Well, I'm skipping straight to 4 probably when it gets a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
And that's
maybe I just YouTube all the story. 3.
Oh, and if any of us even care to have even the slightest possibility of playing it, we probably should have played Tearaway, but we can't because we're never going to get beta.
No.
That's the end of that.
Cool.
Yeah, so I don't think there needs to be a winner of that category. That's just the game you should have played.
It's the shit we should have played.
So the Time Spent Award, which is, there's actually
Are we even going to have any ideas for this one as well? Because that's going to be a hell of a problem.
Well, I'm not including just games. I'm including games beyond this year in this one. So this is any game.
But then we know what the answer is because it's Team Fortress Forever.
No, come on.
This year, has it really been?
Maybe.
I'm not sure it has.
Animal Crossing or something.
I've definitely put on probably 200 hours on that Team
Oh, really?
I'm still not at 2,000 yet.
Okay, so Zach's most played award.
That might not be. There might be more than that.
I know, because
I've probably played, I don't know, 150 of Starbound maybe by now.
Holy shit.
In that first week.
Holy shit.
Well, not literally in that first week. That's impossible.
That's not possible, I don't think.
Is it not?
Not if you
Probably
sleep.
not quite.
Not for the amount that I sleep.
No, not quite. Even if you were 24-houring it, I don't think it's quite there.
What else?
Oh, where is it? I don't know, I can't know that.
Rob can't do that.
No,
What are you trying to do? 24 times 7?
I can't.
I can't.
168? Is that right?
That sounds a bit low.
148, I get.
Anyway, maths.
God damn.
Yeah. In my head.
So
So my list consists of Awesome Noughts, Guild Wars 2,
yeah,
and that's probably what I reckon the top 2 most played are for me.
quite a lot of Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I actually played Rogue Legacy, but probably not as much as it seems.
Well, I'm only 8 hours in, but I reckon for you it was going to be SimCity and Pokemon.
Well, yeah.
You put a lot of time into Pokemon, man.
I don't know if it was that much. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure Fire Emblem is still the #1 most played game on my DS because it tracks that.
Oh, does it?
So it's probably not as much as Pokemon was less than that, apparently.
What about Animal Crossing?
No, that.
Too many short bursts?
Yeah, exactly. I trimmed that amount of time down to the minimum.
Yeah. Because I put about 60 hours into Awesome Noughts this year. It's pretty good for me.
Even though it's not out, even though it didn't come out this year, it's if you want to compare the amount of time that I put into a game that takes no time, it's somehow I put into 9 hours of Super Hexagon in a game that always takes less than 60 seconds.
Yeah, wow.
That's pretty good. I've got 33 hours on XCOM and 26 on Kerbal. Probably got more on GTA. I don't know.
I don't know how many games of Bejeweled Blitz I've played this year. Quite a lot.
So there you go. That's another non-award.
Yeah,
that's just us listing
award.
things.
That's just another recap. This is the lull before the storm. Because here it comes.
It's not going to be a storm though.
What is it? What, you reckon it's going to be a whitewash or something?
Well, I don't think it's going to take us that long to work it out.
Right, Game of the Year 2013.
Okay.
The nominations I have are, feel free to add to this list.
That's a good game.
I'm sure there will be. Yeah, feel free to add to this list. It's the first nomination. Made by Robco
Yeah.
in the game fucking division. DMC, Devil May Cry.
Worst title of the year.
Probably shittest title of the year, yeah. BioShock Infinite. GTA 5. The Last of Us.
Saying words.
Yep.
Is that it?
That's what I thought would be probably the top 4. So we can add anything else that we think to that.
Have we got Zach? You must have some to add to that.
Because I don't know, but I don't think Battlefield 4 deserves to be there. I'm not sure there's any launch titles on Xbox that deserve to be there, or PS4 for that matter. And this is only stuff that we've played, so we can't add Zelda and we can't add Mario, which would probably be contenders.
Probably. There must be some. Zach, you must have some games of the year. that are like, I don't know, indie games or something. Like Rogue Legacy.
Rogue
or whatever.
Legacy, obviously.
Yeah.
Surgeon Simulator 2013.
No, I'm
No.
saying we should put Rogue Legacy up there, maybe.
Well, yeah.
All right, Rogue Legacy.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't think I liked Gunpoint as much as some people did, even though it's pretty awesome. There
yeah.
wasn't much to it.
Yeah, people
Probably
seem
not
to be
good.
going a bit crazy over that. I'm not quite sure why. I mean, it's cool and everything. And
I mean, is it
awesome.
something you could like ever want to go back to? You reckon? Or
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not that. It's still not that amazing.
that
It's the
Anti-Chamber?
guy's first ever game. I mean, and it's just one
Yeah.
guy. I mean, how is it going to be?
Wow, no, he had a bit of a team, didn't he?
I
But,
guess. But game of the year we're talking.
Yeah, Anti-Chamber is pretty awesome.
Okay.
all right, I'll put that in the discussion list.
Fire Emblem was not sufficiently Advance Wars.
Damn it. What about Pokemon Mystery Dungeon or some shit? I don't know.
I don't think that's a game.
Is that going to be Game of the Year? Can we come on?
I don't know. What about Animal Crossing? God damn it. That's
That's not.
No.
That's not either. That's just like
Okay.
here's more Animal Crossing.
Easily no.
I deleted that motherfucker.
I know.
That's
Yeah,
how you
that's
can
true.
tell.
Yeah, but you've played a
I'm
ton
still
of it.
impressed by that.
Yeah.
Just the fact you deleted it is kind of.
Well, I need
You didn't get to
space.
see the crazy New Year's stuff they had on.
No, that's like the last thing I was actually. What really I was like waiting for the New Year's stuff to happen so I could send my DS to get the speaker that doesn't work repaired.
Right.
Oh right, yeah.
And I'm still not sure whether I'm actually going to do that. I was actually thinking of just like waiting as long as possible just to like because I think every time you send it in for repairs, the warranty extends a year.
Oh, awesome.
So maybe I should just wait until the last possible moment for that inconsequential repair because I use headphones most of the time, and then just extend the warranty some more.
Oh, that would be excellent.
But now I can't because I said it, and and Nintendo will find us.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, because Nintendo worked with the NSA.
Yeah, clearly.
So how are we
Alright,
going to start eliminating if this is our
Let's talk
list?
games. Well, we've got we've
It's
got,
like all of 6. It's not going to take very long.
yeah, we've got 6 to go
Okay.
through, so it's not a massive list. So naturally, I think some of this may come down to what multiples of us have played, so we each have an opinion. Because some of these, I don't think.
Well, I don't think any of us have really played multiples of those, have we? Apart from Rogue Legacy.
Well,
That's
Rogue
barely
Legacy I've
counts.
played. Bioshock, Dan and I have played.
Yeah.
Anti-Chamber, I've seen most of, so that sort of counts.
Sort of.
Yeah, I feel like
I mean,
it seems like
but
possibly Bioshock has an unfair advantage because me and you have both played it. Which I don't think we should skew.
I mean, sometimes things have come down to that, yeah, with us, but
That's true. They have before. But I have a feeling that it might slide towards Bioshock Infinite when maybe it doesn't deserve it. But I can't tell.
no, I honestly I don't want to give it to Bioshock.
Yeah.
I
I
think
don't either, really.
I think it sets a very unique world and it sets a very great aesthetic and it's aesthetic.
Yeah.
Properly.
I think it's great. It's a brilliant game. Brilliant game.
But yeah, the combat for me didn't work. I didn't like it, and like the fights with the handymen are just—they're the worst parts of that game.
They're
It's
kind of
just
a
awful.
nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a tense encounter, but I don't think the handyman is fun to fight against.
No, he just sort of appears out of nowhere and just
They're just
stomps
too
you.
fast, and
yeah.
they can kill you in 2 hits, and those 2 hits are pretty unavoidable.
And it's almost impossible to actually shoot them in the chest or wherever you're
In the
supposed to
weak
shoot
spot,
them.
yeah. And there's that
Yeah.
achievement
Hit
for like
the weak
kill-
spot for massive damage. And
and there's that
doesn't really
achievement for killing them by only hitting them in the weak spot, which is impossible. And
yeah, exactly. I don't know. Anyway,
It's just that comes across as the combat. Just doesn't gel with me at all. Which is a shame. Because I think if they'd got that right, that perhaps it was a shoo-in.
yeah, pretty much.
But because it doesn't, I don't look back on that part of the game fondly. I look back on everything around it fondly. The stupid songbird fight at the end. I mean, goddamn.
Yeah, that was dumb. Although then immediately afterwards you had that awesome ending. So
Yeah, but that last section didn't enjoy. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't think that can. I don't think
story
that
was
deserves
good,
to
though,
win
I
it.
guess.
But, yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't quite. Yeah. It's cool though. It's a brilliant
Yeah.
game, but I don't know if it deserves to win it. Yeah, I think I would probably pick for my games that I've played. I would probably pick GTA over Infinite. But you guys haven't played that, so you probably won't have an opinion on that one.
No, I mean, I've watched a chunk of GTA, and what I've seen of it, it does seem like, as I sort of alluded to, I think, earlier in the year, it does feel like a GTA game I kind of want to play, which is sort of new. That hasn't really happened for any of the 3D GTAs. I mean, I played 4 thinking that perhaps I should more than I want to. If you know what I mean. And that kind of happened with Red Dead Redemption. I didn't really necessarily want to start that, but then I did and loved it.
Right.
But I started 4 and GTA I just did not get on with
Totally
it.
the opposite.
Yeah. But GTA 5, at least it looks like a game I might...
Sorry.
It looks like a game I think I can enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that says something. And like,
Okay.
from watching it, like, it is GTA, but like with pretty much every part of it improved. Which
But that's
I
the thing.
suppose
It's not. I mean, it's not innovating in its core.
In its
like,
space.
Grand Theft Auto. I mean, it is innovating in its story. Like, it is different to have. It's much better, I think. I mean, it really they pulled off the multiple character thing really well.
I suppose most importantly for me, it's cut out the crap that I don't like.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It has done that, and it has streamlined
which immediately elevates it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the shooting is better and stuff, and it just hangs together really well. But it's like people aren't. It's not as exciting as. Maybe it's not as exciting as 4 because it's quite a long time since then, and like that was amazing to have that world in somewhat HD-ish or whatever. It was a huge step up, and this is like, it looks amazing, it looks great, a lot better than 4, but like this is when the new generation's coming out, and like you just imagine what you could do now,
Sure.
I don't know.
I mean,
I think strange time for a GTA to come out.
The thing for me about that game is I think I would play it and I think I would have a good time, but I don't think I would have a great time.
Well, my main
main
thing about GTA 5 was I was really looking forward to it, and I really enjoyed it, but I still think Red Dead was better. So that's
yeah.
And
it's when you say things like that make me slightly concerned.
Yeah. I mean, not that there weren't problems with Red Dead or whatever.
Sure.
I mean, there are things in GTA 5 that are better than in Red Dead for certain.
I mean, your cars don't randomly die.
Exactly. And you have cars, and I like driving cars around. And so
Horses were cool.
Horses were cool. But horses were cool, but it was kind of tap, 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 hold, tap, 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 hold, whatever. And you weren't like weaving through traffic and stuff. I think the actual act of driving in like GTA is like a fun thing in itself once you get good at it or whatever. So, and especially that, every time they change the handling, and somehow every time it gets better. So
yeah, the handling does look a lot nicer this time. It's like the handling in GTA 4 looks realistic, but
it's really weighty.
Suspension but it's like it's a fucking nightmare on a controller.
Yeah, it's true.
Honestly.
And also, LA is just a city for driving and not for walking or doing anything else. So it's kind of perfect for GTA. I mean, if they did London, it would be really difficult because it's not really designed for driving around in a car because it was made before cars. But LA is like pretty much made for cars.
Yeah, not unless they do it on the outskirts or at night. I guess. Because you couldn't really drive in London during the day. Be a very boring game.
No, you'd just be traffic.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I get the feeling like if I played it, my impression would come out in the similar vein to how Kip has described it when we quizzed him about it, which was it's all right. I don't think I'll be blown away by it, but I don't think I'd have a bad time with it.
No, but I mean that we're talking about game of the year, not game you don't think you'd have a bad time.
You know what I mean? That's my point. I think I would be.
Yeah.
It would be. I don't think I'd have many flaws with it necessarily, but just that not any one part wowed me. Apart from maybe the lighting, which is real nice.
Or
the technical side, but I could get over that in a few hours.
Okay, so that's kind of my games that I played, kind of discounted probably. So even though they're really good, but I don't think they
are really
it,
good.
So
Yeah.
So what do we got?
So
Devil May Cry.
Yeah, that was my early pick of the year. Was DMC, just because it is so batshit crazy and so inventive and so creative, and just try and coin the phrase. What is it? Action character genre?
Action.
Character action genre. Yeah. To use that moniker, it's one of those games that I actually got into, like in a big way, because I never really got into the original DMC that much or any of its sequels. God of War just doesn't appeal at all. I reckon I could like Bayonetta, but never really tried it, other than the demo. But DMC, man, that just grabbed me. And I played through it twice on like normal difficulty and on its hard difficulty, and then most of the way through it on its one of its stupid, like everything dies in one hit difficulty levels. And that has to say something.
Oh, definitely. Well, so let's put up DMC versus Rogue Legacy here. Since you have played both of those, I know you're
sure.
probably.
Well, yeah, Rogue Legacy. It's hard. Well, I can't do a comparison thing here, but you know,
We can't compare those two anyway because they're totally different.
they're totally different. But Rogue Legacy has that I cannot put it down feeling. Like I don't think, pretty much like unlike anything else I've played this year. I think to have like sunk 8 hours into it in the space of a couple of days.
Yeah.
Is by my standards pretty great. It's just. It's almost unexplainable. I don't know. As I say, I like the sound engine. There's something nice about that feel of the sound. Everything's crunchy. Everything has impact. It doesn't necessarily feel very cheap for random generation very often. I mean, occasionally you'll get a room that is just an outright bastard, and like there'll be just stuff spawning in the doorway occasionally, and you're like, oh fuck, nothing I can do about this. Which is the worst, but that is the worst that game can do, really. I mean, the bosses are hard, but they're not insurmountable, except for the Neo ones.
And they do get kind of like compared to when you're finishing the game, all of the bosses are like super easy, and they don't get harder in the New Game Plus runs.
Right. Okay.
The bosses stay the same, just everything else gets harder.
So you can redo the bosses once you reach New Game Plus, can you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's worth noting. I haven't finished it, but I am like 100 odd runs in. I haven't even attempted the bloody darkness yet. I went in there once and died immediately.
Oh yeah, no,
Really?
Yeah.
but it's
It's
just
not
like
as it's not as like batshit crazy as Devil May Cry though, because it's not all craft.
No, it's not. But it is a. It's kind of focused in what it does, but it just does that thing really well. That it's the constant sense of progression, like because most of the time, even if you have a fairly shit run, you've probably got enough cash to upgrade something.
Yeah.
So you're always getting stronger, and that always means that the next run you feel like you can do better.
That's the key, isn't it, to the whole
So
game?
you just do it again. Yeah, you finish a run, and you're just like, one more, just one more. And it's like the only
It's like
time
Civilization or something. One more turn.
Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, I do find that maybe not all the classes are massively useful.
Well, no,
like
the majority of them are totally useless.
the miner.
Well, the miner's okay if you just want to make a cash run.
I guess, but even you don't make enough of a difference. Like the 30% bonus isn't enough.
I don't know, that's quite a lot.
Well, but I've already got like a 30% bonus through upgrades, and it's I can get more by not dying. Then
Yeah, but if you're good enough to avoid getting hit, you can do a long miner run and get tons of cash.
yeah, but I'm not.
Yeah, well, you need to get better then.
Yeah, not yet.
But,
I'm not there yet.
I guess that's really a problem of I think the miner class it's sort of a weird. This is like a weird problem with the game, but not really. Is that it unlocks really early, relatively speaking, which is good in theory because it's you can get more money to help you up the tech tree.
But it's
you
so
can't because you're you're actually not very well. It's like the class is underpowered, and at that point you're probably not very good at the actual game.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably do the best with the Hockage.
Well, they are
Kage, or however you say it.
It's just because of the damage, the consistent damage.
Consistent
output.
damage output is really good.
Because if you go with the the assassin with the random criticals, once you've buffed your criticals, that could be ludicrously powerful as well.
Yeah, I haven't had many good runs with the assassin. The lack of health is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So what's the best one sort of in standard?
Well, the best standard is like either paladin or barbarian.
Yeah, depending on where. I mean, I think Paladin's probably the best, but only if you have enough magic points. If you haven't really invested in magic, the special ability doesn't really last enough because you need quite a lot to be able to
shield up.
But if you have enough magic points to work with the shield, and maybe sacrifice a bit of extra health vampire for magic vampire as well, so you can help keep that up, the shield could be like super powerful for just keeping you alive through practically everything.
Yeah, I'm just not good at remembering that I have it.
Well, yeah, it's kind of awkward. And, you know, if your buttons are configured in a similar way that I might use them, it's like much less easy than the trigger.
Oh, yeah, it's X for me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just left at the defaults. But
that's not exactly the most convenient button to remember.
It's quite convenient, but yeah, I just don't remember. You're switching classes so much, I suppose.
It's like I never remember to use the hokage skill, but that's because that's actually quite difficult to use.
The replacement, yeah. Yeah, I always forget that one as well.
You're more likely to just accidentally murder yourself, really.
Yeah, spawn into something.
Yeah. Because it's just like it's not even a set distance, which is maybe the most
it's random each time.
Well, it's not really even random. It's like it sort of depends on your momentum.
Oh, really?
I mean, I guess that makes sense, but
yeah.
It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I don't really play as any of the magic classes.
No, the magic classes are all too weak. You just can't handle.
Unless I like, super leveled up the magic power. But then it would run out. It still would run out.
Yeah.
No matter how good you siphon or.
And your health is so low that you just can't take any hits.
Yeah. Just a bit. So I think the game has balance problems in that regard.
I don't know if it's really balance problems. It's more just like you have to work through the other classes you don't want until you get the ones you do want.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't unlocked that ability that's at the top of the mana where you can swap out the children. But
it's not even that helpful.
I don't even know what that.
Or it just sets them to another 3 random ones.
But you can keep doing it.
No, just once.
Just once. Well, that's something.
We might as well just be 6 random ones.
You get another roll, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, once you actually get awesome at being able to avoid stuff, you can. I mean, I guess that is theoretically when magic classes might be slightly more useful. But, I mean, the Lich is good if you want to do the long game. Sort of, but not really, because, well, I'm not sure.
Its health cap is pretty high.
Yeah, but not high enough. And I'm not sure if they changed it or not at some point, but now, when I was using the Lich in my new game, not my new game plus, another new game, when I started fresh, it's like you can only do the health mana swap from the Lich King thing like once. And that doesn't really give you enough.
Oh, no, you can do it multiple times.
Well, you can in theory, but it only does if you do it to maximum. You only get one maximum swap.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Because you used to be able to do it. At least.
I think I can keep buffing it when I've been playing.
Yeah, you can't because it limits.
Presumably there is a limit, but like I can take off. Because it trades half your max health.
Yeah, it swaps
puts them into
magic and health. Yeah. But it's like you can only do if you just watch your health bar until it goes to maximum and then swap, and that's it. That's as much magic points as you can get, and then you can just build your health bar back up to the maximum again.
Right.
But I'm sure you could do more than that before. But now there's a message that pops up that suggests like you need to level up more to be able to do this, and I'm like, what level is that talking about? Yeah. Is it your actual level?
Okay.
But yeah, those are okay. If you can just that's like a replacement for the barbarian. If you're pretty much just doing a boss thing and you just want a shit ton of health, which is kind of helpful in some of the bosses.
Yeah.
So Zach,
but really,
I know we're discussing Rogue Legacy, but I mean, and it's difficult to compare with the other. With, say, Devil May Cry, or even other, but that's always the trouble with Game of the Year, is that you have to compare stuff that are hard, almost impossible to compare. That's the trouble.
Well, it's impossible for us because we don't play them all.
But you've played, do you prefer Rogue Legacy over Antechamber? For Game of the Year, I mean.
I don't know, probably. Just
probably.
Because it's like Antechamber is just a thing that you do once, really.
Yeah, I don't know if I played through Antechamber ever I'd go back to it. But...
It'd be like Portal. I mean, you have to wait a long time.
Yeah, but Portal was like a Game of the Year. pretty much.
Oh, which we haven't mentioned at all, but Stanley Parable, by the way, pretty damn awesome, but not Game of the Year material.
But also, like, Antechamber is a sort of doesn't feel like it was finished, I guess, really.
Right. Yeah.
They could have been more. Well, not really. They could have been more, but there was just like loose ends, and then there was the loose.
The loose ends with the pink cubes.
Well, the pink cubes, yeah, and then there's the bit of level that you can go through that just leads to a dead end with a blank room. That's like a super hardcore route.
Yeah.
And then the ending is just like there's not really any. There's just like.
Yeah.
It might as well be the Fez ending almost. It's just like here's some random shit going on, and then that's it.
Right.
So there's not any story or anything, obviously.
No, but that's probably fine.
Well, yeah,
because there is no story.
Well,
Fez has some.
I think that's the problem. That like there is no story, but it seems like there should be because of the way this ending goes. Where it's like, oh look, you follow that black cube thing, and oh shit, something's going to happen, and then it just sort of doesn't.
No.
Like
Antechamber 2 is what happens.
Yeah, it's like they almost had the places where they could have fit a story and then didn't, but left those bits in. So it feels kind of weird. And the game isn't as big as it could have been. I think. And I think, like, it's like they needed to space out. They needed to come up with something else than the block mechanics to space out the block mechanics.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it ended up relying on the blocks too much. Because, the stuff in the early game is really awesome. But then, as it starts devolving into block puzzles, then it starts to lose its awesome.
Because I mean, you can only do each of the movement tricks. Like those only work like once, like infinite stairs and stuff. And then you have to come up with something new. But there could have been something else you could have done in a non-Euclidean way with like physics in the world or something that wasn't the block puzzles.
Yeah.
And the block puzzles weren't non-Euclidean anyway, so it's like, can't you come up with something ingenious?
What was that? What was that other game that came out this year that was sort of like Portal, but you changed the
the one with the magnets.
Maybe you sort of changed the world rather than changing.
Oh no,
the physics of
you're
the
talking
world.
about that. It's the one where the portals are like two different sizes.
No, I'm not sure that's it either.
Okay, good. So that's like three different games.
There was one where you could like change the world so everything was like super light.
Oh, what Quantum Conundrum? That came out last year.
That's last year, is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Perhaps they, I don't know, some of those ideas could have carried over. You mean, or like?
Well, I just think they could.
Or perhaps important. Yeah, perhaps the idea you came up just then with the size of the portal could be. Really
well, that's the sort of thing that that would have made this game more non-Euclidean than it claimed to be, because it wasn't actually that non-Euclidean, really. It was just like a corridor that you walk around and it turns back into itself or whatever.
Yeah.
But whereas, like, if they'd done like some MTSO shit where it's like you put something on top of something but it's actually really far away, but it makes it huge because it's actually close or whatever,
Oh yeah, that kind of stuff.
Some kind of like visual thing
That
could have
been
worked.
cool.
But yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of effort. It's like they did a lot with what they had, considering. And
Okay.
But it's mostly a couple of dudes, isn't it? It's like one guy.
Not very many people.
Yeah, tiny team again.
Because they had the technology to do like basically what are invisible portals essentially, and that was fine. And then they had the block puzzles and a few other things to do.
Well,
with,
in
like,
fairness, you say the technology, they may have just been like the reason why it looks like it does.
No, because it's not Source Engine.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. Well, wonder why it looks so why the design of the game is so sparse.
Yeah, but that's probably just a matter of the team being small. They didn't have to texture anything.
Well, maybe. Yeah, depending. I'm just saying.
But anyway, regardless of that, it's not as good as Rogue Legacy overall, probably in terms of being a game. Rogue Legacy is basically like Meat Boy.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean the control. Yeah, it has to be said. The control in Rogue Legacy is super sharp, which is great. Super sharp.
So are we down to Rogue Legacy versus...
Well, we haven't talked about The Last of Us in terms of this sitting there because I don't know. Zach's seen me play brief spells of it.
Very brief.
Well, you were a bit down on the story at the end, and also which seemed to be the key thing because you were certainly down on the stealth combat because it's not your style of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of has the same problems. Well, the same sort of level of problems, I suppose, as BioShock. That means that why we don't put BioShock up there, and that where The Last of Us falls down is not really on any of its execution necessarily, but in some of it, in terms of gameplay, it's in some of its design, and in story, it's in terms of its, I don't know, lack of a bigger picture, maybe, lack of a bigger hook. Than what happens, and it's sort of unsatisfying ending.
But maybe it wasn't going for like a bigger world.
No, I mean it definitely wasn't. It's sort of trying to evoke the feel of The Walking Dead, I guess, and it's which is kind of personal. The stories in that are personal, not we must save the world, and you don't have to do a save the world game every time, but. I'm finding it really hard to articulate what I mean with The Last of Us because it's, as I say, I found some of the stealth sections like really awkward. There's a couple of sections that are just flat out bad, mechanically. I sort of like the way everything plays out story wise, but at the same time, it's never grandiose enough or never hooky enough. I suppose. I don't know. As it says, it just feels like you're witnessing a year in the lives of these guys. You're not witnessing necessarily anything special. I mean, you sort of are, I guess, in Ellie, but nothing comes of it. Spoiler alert.
Okay. Just almost too mundane and realistic for a zombie thriller thing.
I say nothing comes of it. The ending's kind of all based on Ellie, but it's still... It's sort of a non-ending at the same time. It's weird. I don't know. The story doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth, and maybe that's intentional. I mean, a lot of the story is intentionally bleak, and it's not supposed to be enjoyable in that sense. But in the same time, it doesn't necessarily leave me satisfied with it at the same time. So it's. But all of the character interactions are fantastic. Like all the minute-to-minute writing is great. All the incidental stuff actually is pretty great. Like when Ellie starts reading from her joke book, it's like just sort of randomly. It's kind of awesome.
Do you prefer Ellie to Elizabeth in terms of characters?
They're both pretty great, honestly. They are both really great, really believable characters. I love the stuff when they're talking about, because Ellie was born into the world as it is with the zombies, and I love the stuff when they're talking about things like films and stuff, and it's like people used to do that, and she seems like reading someone's diary and they're worried about makeup and boys, and she's like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
and that stuff's great.
Twilight. So it's all the appeal.
It's all the detail work in that game is phenomenal, but it's the big the bigger sides of it that don't gel with me.
So are you?
It's just not necessarily that fun to play either until you get to the late game and you're kitted out and kind of powerful, and then it kind of gets a bit more fun. But because stuff just becomes a bit more combat-y rather than stealthy. But
cool. That often happens, doesn't it, with stealth games?
Yeah,
they actually get less stealthy as they go along.
Because you can afford to cock up.
So,
and I'm pretty sure there's an enemy type I never saw.
Oh, really?
I don't think I ever saw the Stalker. Or at least I have no idea what it was. But there's an achievement for, like, stabbing a Stalker before it sees you, but... Oh, no, I might have done. They might have just been a certain type of... Oh, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. I think they're pretty similar to the runners, but... They're supposed to, like, sneak around and creep up on you and stuff, but I don't think I ever saw that. Sure.
So are you, is Last of Us better than BioShock?
It's probably just a little.
Okay.
Honestly, if I was putting them side by side, I think I'd rate Last of Us as on the achievement side. You see what I mean? The achievement of that game is incredible, as Naughty Dog stuff always is. And it does a lot of stuff brilliantly. But ultimately, I think the gameplay probably hangs together slightly better than... I probably hate the gameplay in Last of Us less than I didn't get on with the combat of Bioshock. Let's put it that way. I think both of the game's strong points are the not game stuff. So maybe that rules both of them out.
I think we could safely say that the Rogue Legacy strong point is the game stuff.
Yep.
That's all it has, and it does it very, very well. But I like DMC's story stuff as well. It's like tongue-in-cheek, the acting is good. Ninja Theory have a pretty good like motion capture setup that they use, thanks to what's-his-face on it when they worked on Enslaved.
Oh, yeah. Gollum
I forget his name now. Yeah, Gollum.
Circus. Yeah,
that's it. So all that stuff's really great. I love the interactions. I love the sort of jokes. The insults that fly back and forth during boss fights are kind of cool. Very crude, but kind of cool, kind of fitting. There's pretty much nothing out of place about DMC. It's just and pretty much every time you fuck up, it's mostly because of you. You know, it's one of those games where you don't necessarily feel hard done by because of a sequence of events.
Mm.
Like, you know, there probably was a way for you to get out of that. When you die.
That's always the key feeling for not being cheated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling cheated, at least.
So, strong list, I think we're left with.
Well, you're going to have to choose between... are you choosing between The Last of Us and Devil May Cry for a start?
DMC, easy.
Okay. So now it is DMC and Rogue Legacy, I guess. So you and Zach better fight. I don't know if Zach's seen much Devil May Cry. He's seen a bit.
Yep, only as much as you saw.
I don't know if it... I guess the problem we may have with DMC here being a winner is that I'm not convinced it would appeal to either of you.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think
it pushes my buttons in just the right way.
Yeah,
but
I don't think
that's
it would.
me.
It wouldn't beat GTA for me. I don't think, but I'd probably enjoy it.
Yeah, Dan played Bayonetta. I mean, come on.
I did. I like Bayonetta. That was cool. Yeah. In fact,
if I get
a Wii U, I can play Bayonetta too.
That's true. But is it partly because of its style, not necessarily the gameplay?
Yeah, because Bayonetta was totally insanely mental. Yeah. I don't think the gameplay was my standard. Well, it's not my usual type of thing. And I wasn't that good at it. I was all right. I managed to get through it. But, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to play Devil May Cry. I probably will at some point. But it's not making me think, I should have got that in the Steam sales, even though you're advocating it for Game of the Year, because it isn't my kind of thing, I guess.
Exactly.
But, I mean, it looks awesome. I don't know.
I bought DLC for it.
Well, that shows you. Yeah. Okay.
Everyone knows my hatred of DLC.
Clearly.
But I want to, because it's the chapter of Virgil, Dante's brother, and apparently his play style is. I haven't actually played it yet, but is how you handle him as a character is quite different. It's more of a timing element to it, and that in itself sounds pretty interesting as well. And you get to hear more story, yay! Because the story's kind of cool.
I should hope so. Yeah. So Zach, what's your game of the year? Damn it.
I mean, what's my game of the year? The ones that I've played.
Mystery Dungeon.
Your favourite of the ones that you've played? I mean...
I don't know about that. That would be too long a decision. I didn't decide beforehand, because I knew it wasn't going to matter.
My matter? You've got a contender in the mix already. Anyway.
Yeah, but it's the one game that I've played, and therefore it doesn't matter where in my top 10 that would have turned up.
Yeah, but you played.
What is your top?
It does matter.
Yeah, what is your personal list?
I don't know. That's what I just said.
If there's games that you played that you think are better than Rogue Legacy, then you should
No, I
probably
don't
speak
think.
up.
I don't think there's. Well, I think there might be games that I like better than Rogue Legacy, but I don't think they're better than Rogue Legacy.
I
Okay,
see.
but what do you like
So-
better? Out of interest.
Oh, I don't really know, but I'm sure at least one of those I might like Pokemon more than Rogue Legacy, but I haven't decided really.
What,
What,
Mystery
the-
Dungeon?
Yes,
not XY.
I don't think that's going to win Game of the Year. So yeah, you're quite right. Okay. Well, we're looking at Rogue Legacy here. What are you thinking, Rob?
Yeah, for the reasons I sort of mentioned before, because I don't think DMC is going to appeal to you guys. I think, and the fact that we all kind of really like, like I opened this segment with, it's probably going to fall down to the one we all like.
That's the trouble.
But Rogue Legacy is strong.
I like
It's
Bioshock.
it is just strong.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
like
good
Meat
enough.
Boy, it just being a game that is
Yeah.
just the game, and it's a perfect execution of the game.
And it's new, so it doesn't feel old. In the sense that
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
you know, its mechanics don't feel old.
I guess.
Like GTA's do, for example, potentially,
Well, yeah.
because you
You
can't
know,
have played that before.
it does enough with the hand it's dealing that you don't feel like you're just playing retro for retro's sake.
Yeah.
You're playing retro because it's awesome. In this case.
Yeah.
Fuck it, Windjammers.
Windjammers, Game of the Year. Okay. Well, I feel
No, I think we're
pretty
coming
good
down
about.
on
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. But it's not a. I think it might be the first time we've chosen an indie game
it. Yeah,
for Game
not a
of the Year.
AAA title.
Yeah, it's quite unusual. I think
What won on
previously
the
we
year of Meat Boy?
I can't remember.
Mass Effect 2 or something, wasn't it? Or
Oh,
when
yeah,
was
that
Meat Boy?
probably it, yeah.
I mean, we've had Mass Effect 2, we've had Portal 2. What was last year's?
Guild Wars
2.
2.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The twos.
Yeah.
We're breaking the 2 rule. Shit, have we got any
2 rule.
2s? We haven't got any 2s.
Don't
No.
Data 2. Game of the
Data
Year.
2, Game of the Year. It's done. Ed. Okay. I think we have it. On episode 100 of the SaladCast, we have SaladCast Game of the Year, Rogue Legacy, which I'm going to go and play now, I think.
Yep.
God damn it.
So, yeah. Thanks for joining us.
That was fun.
Yeah, indeed.
That was epic.
That was epic. It doesn't
See
feel
you
that epic.
I'm tired.
You're
I
tired.
agree. I'm not tired.
We said tired.
I've set myself on fire. I'm tired.
Tired.
I'm
You're
hungry.
tired.
I'll give you that.
Cool.
I don't know what we're going to do for food.
Okay.
You're,
So
I don't
should
know.
we stop this recording and then think about that?
Yeah, we might get feast. Let's just finish everything recording on getting feast.
Yeah, why
are,
not?
the, are the pizza shops open on New Year's Day?
I don't know.
Probably.
I guess you're about to find out.
We'll find something out.
Cool.
Okay.
We will learn something.
Okay.
Alrighty, thank you.
You
Yes.
actually have to stop this recording.
So yeah, everyone say bye.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.